Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the bonus episode of the Pro Crastinators podcast. It's me, BBG, and we've got Hypocrite. Give and take.
Best,
Did you just say BBG?
BBG.
Best boy guy. That's me.
Oh, yeah. Hey, it's me.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey, it's me. You know who I am. You're a patron.
You cede your time. Mage is here. Mage.
Oh, I am not last this time. Huzzah. Hello,
No,
I'm here.
no. Only morally speaking. Tom Oliver,
Yo, I made it.
welcome. And here's a blast from the past. You may remember this guy, Munchy, with his diminutive headwear.
What the fuck is going on? What is this thin layer of fucking filth and grime and musk all over the place? I'm just, sliding my finger across the wall. What the hell is all this? I leave for like 2 seconds and you just cum everywhere. That's what I have to deal with now? A studio full of cum? That's what I get on my return back to the PCP?
You were the only one keeping us from going full Coomer. And,
Oh god, this is fucking
It's
disgusting.
true.
This was a
So,
mistake.
Now we're rubber
now
banding.
for our first segment, Hot Sluts.
Oh,
Post your images,
Yes,
guys.
this is a new one we've introduced. Slut of the week. This week's slut, me. It's me. I'm this week's
Do you remember
slut.
when Vsauce used to have that show? Vsauce
Slut
used to have a
of the
show
week?
where it was just like, this girl has huge tits, but not as big as this girl's. Yeah.
Vsauce?
Yeah,
had
yeah,
that show.
way back.
What?
Before
It was,
he
it was called
doing
like
Vsauce.
Ding or something. It was literally called fucking penis.
Oh, he had a channel
who,
called
who
Dawn.
would have thought
No,
that
no.
Vsauce
Even-
stood for virgin sauce this whole time?
No. way back before he started doing intellectual content or whatever you want to call it.
indeed.
He did like top 10 gamer moments and hot girls in gaming sort of things to get a foothold on YouTube.
No. he didn't.
I
Is this
could
real? I
never
had
look
no
at
idea.
them because they were sort of bad and not very fun and interesting. But it's funny that he did that.
Dude, the most
Indeed
iconic
it
moments
is.
growing up on the YouTube sphere was watching that one game theory about boobs and about who has the biggest natural boobs in video games in the middle of my
won?
living room at 3 a.m., constantly looking behind my back to make sure my mom didn't come up and see me not only stay up past my bedtime,
Wow.
but also seeing salacious tits online.
That's a real Zoomer moment right now. Because with me, it was like VHS copies of like some movie I would spy on the shelf, and I would pop it in the VCR while everyone else was asleep, and just replay that one sexy moment when the girl moves, and you can see epic side boob for like a full 2 seconds.
Holy
dude.
shit.
Ooh, I wore that section of the VHS tape raw with the replaying over and over.
What, one
it wasn't the only
time-
thing worn raw that day. Let me tell you that, boys.
Oh.
I invited my
Talking about
friend
the rug.
over from school, but I
Yeah.
actually hated him and I didn't even like him. So I just said like, "Hey, dude, watch something on the TV because I'm gonna go on the computer and watch Angry Video Game Nerd." And so he was just
Nice.
completely addled by whatever dumb fucking lowbrow shill TV commercial content he was watching. Meanwhile, I was watching the Patrician Angry Video Game Nerd on my computer. And one time my mom came over while this was transpiring, and there was some sort of like dick and penis joke, and she took me aside and was like, "Anthony, you have your friend over. You have to you can't watch Angry Video Game Nerd all day. This is rude. It's corrupting your mind. Please play." And I was like, "No, bro, no. Cinemassacre.com is where my soul lives."
That's understandable. By the way, just to give people a tactile, because I couldn't think of the exact movie I was thinking of, but here is one: Chevy Chase's Christmas Vacation, where
That
he has that
movie's
daydream
fucking
about
Kino,
the
bro.
girl. I mean, it is Kino,
The
and
mom
when he
is so hot
daydreams
in
about
that.
she is extremely hot, and you see some good boobage as she lays
All
on her
right,
back
this
in bed
this
and her
joke
night and stuff.
of Coomer taking
no.
over the PCP has become too real, too quick.
You're absolutely right.
It's a fine line between
we-
structure and degeneracy, and we have crossed it.
It's just that the swimsuit lady from that one
Oh,
daydream,
no.
Chevy Chase's
stop.
Christmas Vacation.
You know what my New
Okay,
Year's
all right, you're
resolution
right.
is to never come again.
Never coon. Oh, we had
not
some guys
never.
writing in. We had some guys write in about, winning No Nut November, and then a real Chad called in and verified that he was the real Chad because he coomed every day of his life, and he never stopped. That's the real victory. That's a lifestyle commitment that no anti-coomer could ever understand. Anyway,
That's
none of
actually
that
a
has
great
anything to
segue
do.
into this because I was
Yeah.
doing No Nut November, and then I came upon an epiphany and intentionally failed, and I'm going to get into that because that actually plays into my New Year's resolution and goals. So
Fascinating.
That's incredible.
Oh,
The
boy.
topic for this episode is New Year's and Old Year's thoughts.
And plans for the future and all that
Yeah.
kind of shit.
Our yearly future.
Oh, I'm hippo.
Anyone,
I'm a fucking
let's
yes
start.
man.
Let's start
Yes.
with the past year, and we'll get to the future. Anybody? I mean, I certainly have some things to say. Anybody want to talk about how this year was for them?
I'm
Any
ready to
thoughts
talk
on
for like a billion years. So someone else go first.
We've
before
all been
I
dying to
don't
hear
get
from you.
train run over the podcast.
Sure.
Well,
sure.
I've got a bit to say. So my year started
Boring.
and it ended. No, my year started with it was the first year I wasn't doing YouTube as a career.
Right.
Hypocrite had been destroyed, killed, murdered. His corpse was there.
His
I was
cork is
looking at
also
it.
gone.
Yes. And I was working on the ending of my webcomic Balejape, which I finished in April or May, I think April. And I was working on that for the first few months of the year. And that was fucking cool and epic, and I felt really good. And I got really into animation, and I did a whole bunch of multi-animator projects. The Homestuck one of which is still not done, and will never be done, because the guy running it sucks, and fuck him. Haha, stupid.
He's like 3, isn't he?
He was like 13 or some...
Yeah.
Oh,
He
well,
was not,
that's your first one.
I learned too late, but at that time, it was just sort of, I just wanted
Shout out to
animate.
Annie.
Wait,
Fred.
I'm sorry. What project is this that was discontinued?
It was not discontinued. It's apparently still going, but I've left the Discord server in which it's transpiring. It's the Homestuck multi-animator project for reanimating Collide.
Okay.
And I did
Right.
I did 4 scenes for that, and there's just
You
sort
did
of like
4 fucking scenes and they're not going to finish it? That's a fucking... What an
Yeah,
agony. What a piece of shit.
I know it sucks, but I don't care. I enjoyed animating.
Yeah,
that was
alright.
the reason I was doing it in the first place. Anyway,
You released those on your channel, though, a while back, didn't you?
I
So
did,
we
yeah.
could see them?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's good. At least they exist. Yeah.
So that was like the first half of the year. It was finishing Balejape, getting into animation, and then also the YouTube challenge. And I'll get into a little bit about that thing, how it failed.
I've
That's
heard
relevant
some people
to mine
asking
as well,
about
so I
this
wanna
on
get into
Twitter or
that.
something.
That's important.
Yeah, man.
So the YouTube challenge was my attempt to curb my lazy attitude and propensity to just sit on YouTube and play video games and not do any of the work I wanted to do for months at a time. It was terrible and I hated myself. So, YouTube challenge, don't watch any YouTube at all. Terrible idea. Doomed to fail because clearly
Bit
YouTube
overzealous,
is
perhaps.
a little overzealous, a little too much, biting off too much at once. So I tried that for a few months, and then I failed while I was animating the finale of Balejape, which took a while, and I needed some background noise. So I just sort of said, "Fuck it, I'll watch YouTube videos because I'm still technically working." After which, I finished Balejape, and I was doing the Kickstarter thing, and then it just sort of lapsed. And because I had let myself watch YouTube, I just watched YouTube. During most of the summer, the Kickstarter failed, and so I didn't have that project to go to occupy my time. And so I was just sort of doing things very slowly and not, curbing my bad habits for the summertime. And then near the end of the year, I discovered...
I came over in the summer. You have to talk about how I relate to everything, Hippo.
Munchy came over. There was a big old... We did fucking Gay for a Day, finally. That's ticked off the
yes.
bucket
Of
I
list.
feel like people don't know that for some. I just get a weird impression that people don't know that it's never referenced or anything. I mean, I guess because people hate it and it's really bad.
Yeah,
click a link in the description to
real
the Bandcamp
sucks.
for it though.
Download the
I
whole
mean, there's a
thing.
bonus episode, too, but...
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I had sworn that you guys would never made it. I bet against you, and I was
Yeah.
proven
Too
wrong.
bad
It
it
took us
wasn't with
500 years.
Hey, man, there was no time limit.
It was the perfect opportunity. Munchy came over, stayed in my place. We made Gay for a Day. I gave Munchy an illness I had, and he was like,
Oh, yeah.
after
He had to nurse me
before
back
that,
to health.
I had to nurse you back to health, and then I kicked you out of my house, and you went on the plane. And also RFCK London
Yes.
was fun.
Again, shout out to Annie Fred.
Yeah, shout out to Annie Fred, who was born that day, literally.
Shit.
Then basically the rest of the year it was me doing my job writing things, secrets, and then also secretly writing secret comics and secret things secretly the whole time. And that's sort of where my story ends as to what I've been doing. I guess here and there I invented Red Man Comics, and that was just sort of
Right,
fun for a
right.
little while. and little bits here and there. But like as a year, it's like Bale Jape was finished, Munchy came over, and then I've been working on things that I can't talk about for the rest of the year, which sucks in terms of like not having a lot to say
material.
on podcasts,
Yeah.
or like just
That's
to
not why you
anyone.
live your life. I get it, I get it.
Yeah.
But like, you are doing things, and I have faith that you are, as I'm sure the audience would as well, because you made. I feel like when you released a Jailbape, the finale for that, you like gained respect from everyone, and now you can basically kind of be like pretty elusive and mysterious for a little bit, and people trust that you're actually doing things. But it's like it made a whole animation.
I mean, I feel that that's somewhat true for a very, very small amount of people. That like,
But you know what that reminds me of?
who actually
That
read Bale Jape and be like, oh, cool. Most people who
that's
know
true,
who I am do not have that respect yet because Bale Jape was very weird and like not obviously a cool thing from a glance. So
I suppose so.
I still feel like I need to get the power.
That
Nintendo.
need is
that-
probably
that-
like good for you, but
Probably. That reminds me just that this year, this is another interesting year summary thing. It's just that I'm a big fan of Twin Perfect and the real Silent Hill experience. And I was shit-talking them recently, like over the whole year. And then, I don't know, maybe a month, maybe two ago, they had released nothing like for the entire year. And it seemed like their channel was kind of fading and going away. Then all of a sudden they released like a gigantic, like 3-hour-long analysis of like season 3 or the entirety of Twin Peaks. And I was so like I had thought that they were literally giving up, and then it was proved that all that time had been used on this gigantic project that has already done extremely well on their channel. They had something of a good reputation for big stuff like that. So like it just totally everything I had thought I was mad about or like disappointed was proved to be false and incorrect. So it was
with-
absolutely worth it and totally
thing
sick.
with a
So good for them.
YouTuber is those like you can posting a video is like it's from 10 minutes to an hour of content, and the
Yeah.
quality is like if it's a like a return to form, it's like wow, everybody instantly has the respect back. To release a comic, I was
it's like a
thinking
different
like
medium. It's a different thing than most people.
it's a different sort of thing. Like, should I like start doing like a regular upload schedule sort of thing? Because I've got a lot I can potentially make it that quickly, or should I wait even longer and then make it and put it up? I don't know. I don't know. But like 2020 is definitely the year when
questions.
a comic will come out and maybe more.
I
Well,
know
that's good.
Ben was going to be here, but he's not here for whatever particular reason. I know that it's sort of like a debate, should I release comic pages one at a time or in bulk? And there's the argument that it is more, I guess, artistically sound to release them all at once. It's a better flow for the reader. But I've never resonated with that, and I just like it when people release things because I don't know. It's just a, maybe this is a little bit gay. But I sort of like it as a fan to have that sort of sense that a thing is transpiring around me. It's not as though it's something that is just released into the ether and then I consume it and it's like, okay, that's, done.
I mean,
Goodbye.
I really think it depends on the medium because that totally works for some projects. And I mean, just something like Homestuck has the strength of he can make like one image and then have tons of text underneath it. You can get a lot more out of that versus, let's just say, a page of The Vapors. If that came out like one page at a time, there could be, technically speaking, lots of nice art, but not a lot transpiring on that one page. So I'm somewhat sympathetic to.
I kind of want
I get it.
to get like to get in a nice middle ground to go for more of like a manga thing where they have chapters and each chapter is satisfying and interesting in and of itself, and it comes out every week. I probably couldn't make a whole chapter a week because I'm not a Japanese, but there's potential for a middle ground between those two things because my art is not as good as Ben's, just like on a general level. I don't
That could
spend
be an
enough
advantage
time
though. You can get out
on each
faster.
drawing. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I do want to make art better than Bale Jape and all that.
We've been over this 1,000 times. It's not about technical prowess. I mean, you already know
it's
this.
not.
I'm gonna get it all into it, but
Yeah,
maybe
it's not
your
about
art
technical
isn't as
prowess,
technically
but
good, but
there's
still
something
strong.
there's something to be said of like somebody who can draw really well drawing a stick figure looks better than someone who can't draw as well drawing the same sort of stick figure. You can tell. There's slight little things that are just sort of nicer about it. So I've been sort of grinding away at my art skill while I've been writing comics and writing things. At the moment, I have one comic that is almost fully sketched. Another comic which has I've written the plot for it, and another one which I'm figuring out the plot for. And yeah, it's
why
well, I'm sure
have
people-
you done this like bulk writing for multiple different projects? I mean, we were just talking about how release all of them at the same time, like release something in bulk. But why like different projects? I feel like that might be overkill. I mean, what's the rationale?
well, it's not like I was like thinking I should do that. The one that I am still working out was the first idea I had. The one that I had fully sketched out was supposed to be a small project that turned into a large project, and I thought I could do like
Ain't
in
that just the
between
way?
things. And then the one
Yeah.
that I had finished the plot for is also like basically it's just sort of distractions that have become projects that I can work on simultaneously because they're
Sure.
nothing is like, I mean, the one thing I have problems with, I guess, is working on too many projects at the same time. But
I know that
I am like I'm getting better at like focusing on one and leaving one on the back burner. I just like having a lot of things that I could turn to if I have different ideas. Because when you have a single project and absolutely nothing else going on, and you don't feel like working on that thing that one day, then the whole day is gone.
It's just YouTube. It's YouTuber video games.
Yeah.
So,
So
hey,
it's like,
speaking of that, I wanted to get back to the YouTube channel because that's incredibly relevant for mine, that like idea. So I wanted to know, why exactly did you want to try and quit YouTube? Was it like the amount of time that you were spending on YouTube? Was it like you didn't think that you wanted to consume YouTube videos as opposed to other types of art? Like, what was the exact reasoning?
the exact reasoning is because the recommended tab is something I just sort of fallen into using. And when you go to the homepage or you just click on recommendations, you end up watching a lot of videos and not a lot of videos that you care to watch. You just sort of like are interested in the moment that you're clicking on it, and then you watch it all the way through because
It's when you're susceptible to clickbait
Yeah.
in those moments, I suppose.
yeah, it's a thing.
Works
It's
on
a
me
thing
too.
That and I mean, just today there was this video. It's like playing Minecraft, but like Bedrock is spawning in like just randomly in the world, and you have to try and beat the game before Bedrock completely envelops you. And it's just like
Why?
Kind of
like-
funny. Kind of cool.
I was interested, but
Yeah.
I clicked on it. I was like, yeah, and that was quite heart pounding. Like, oh my god, they're not gonna make it. Stupid shit like that just sort of like eats up my time. I go from one to the other, and I was, it used to be just the amount of people I subscribed to was the problem. So I quit like a bunch of subscribers like a few years ago, and that inevitably just it wasn't the root cause of the problem. And I think I don't remember when or where I said this, but like the root cause of my like going to YouTube is not necessarily that I like YouTube that much. It's that it's easier and a way to sort of forcibly turn my brain off, because once you're watching something, it's easier to not worry about whatever you've got to work on, or like oh I'm stuck on this panel or this this arc, this thing I'm doing, this creative thing. It's like it feels bad. I'll just watch a YouTube video and veg out and not have to worry, and that's sort of like a way to escape it. And it's not good. It's not good to let that be all the time.
I've been thinking about distractions and intentional time management a lot lately in the past couple months. If you, Nate, I believe you read it at least. Munchy's Manuscripts is a new Tumblr that I have where I make big long text post diatribes, and I made a post recently.
I saw
called-
you post that. I
Yes.
didn't see a link to it, so I didn't actually read it yet. But I was interested.
I'll post in the
what that
description right
was.
now.
Okay, same,
or
same.
in the show notes.
Show notes,
Anyway, so
whatever,
I have a
yeah.
post here where I detail the past 2 years of my life and about how I've been basically in a malaise. And so the reason that's relevant here is that I've been spending I had been spending a lot of time on YouTube and other social media, and I slowly came to the realization that it was eating and rotting my brain. Pretty obvious in retrospect, but I didn't really resonate with it until pretty recently, like a couple months ago. And what's important to know about all these things, like Twitter and like YouTube, is that their entire business is to trying to manipulate your weak, feeble human mind into staying on it for as long as possible. And so they are literally just simply nefarious, like, websites made to ruin your life. Like, that is the business model, is ruin your life. And I've been thinking about that a lot recently. And so for me, I have been thinking a lot about doing a similar sort of YouTube challenge. Not so much just like goodbye YouTube, like, you know, see you later, uninstall, though I do intend to go cold turkey for a little bit like I did with Twitter because it worked out pretty well. But more so just like the problem with YouTube for me is what you were describing, just, you know, click on recommended, just kind of like mindlessly consuming stuff that I don't even really like. It's just sort of, you know, it's there. And YouTube, again, its entire business model is based upon you staying for as long as possible. You know, they are quite good at that. The human mind is not good at avoiding that sort of thing. So you're always going to like lose to YouTube because the best minds in the country are figuring out how to sell ad space. Right. And of course you're not able to fight against that. So I've been thinking a lot about trying to, at the very least, use my time on YouTube intentionally, which is a big thing for my goals. We'll see, but I'm very interested. I mean, do you think that you would ever want to go back to a YouTube challenge? I know that you failed, I guess, but do you still have that idea rattling around your mind?
I mean, at the moment I have cold turkey with quite strict like for like basic weekdays.
Do you want to explain what cold turkey is for the people real quick?
Oh yeah, cold turkey is an app that blocks websites and also applications on your computer. So it's more powerful than just like a URL blocker, which can easily be turned off. It's a thing that runs, and when it's like, I think 9 a.m. or something, I forget when it starts, but 7 p.m. is when I'm allowed to watch YouTube. So that huge thing throughout the whole day is, if I'm at home and I don't have like work, I can't fuck around. I can't play video games. I can't go on Discord, that's a big one. And I can't watch YouTube or go on certain sites. So the only thing that's left is, Google search if I need reference for drawing and Photoshop and all that sort of stuff. So I can get into a mindset of like, well, there's nothing else to do. I may as well do the thing I'm supposed to. And that's usually how I manage to get anything done, is when I get to a point when I'm like, well, there's nothing else to do. So that has been really helpful. And also, towards the end of the day, I enjoy going on Discord a little bit, so I don't try to cut that out completely. But during the final few hours of the day, I change it so that I am allowed to use Discord but not YouTube. So I can be in a call with friends or just sort of, talk to people, chat and stuff while I'm still drawing. And that's how I've managed to sort it out. I forgot your question.
No, I was just wondering if you were thinking of doing another sort of YouTube challenge, but you already answered it in the sense that you're, just cutting down.
Yeah,
it's not so much like a thing you're doing, but just
and it's sort of like, the whole bedtime and
have you stuck with that? How is the bedtime working out well?
The bedtime works out.
I struggle so bad with that. That's like the biggest problem in my life right now, honestly.
Well, there's like a little bit of leeway. An hour before my computer turns off, everything stops working except for, drawing. So like I can't use Discord or still, and it's like I got 1 hour to save my work, and if I want to go to bed now I can, but if I really want to stay up, I have very, very limited options for what I can do. So it's usually just sort of like, well, I may as well go to bed early. And 2 p.m. is like your computer's turned off. You just can't use it.
I love that shit. That's such a good feature. That what you were saying about checking Discord and stuff, that's like Discord and YouTube and Twitter used to be, but Discord and YouTube right now are like the biggest fucking time sinks in the entire world for me right now. And those are the two that I'm most looking forward to cut down on. That's what I'm most thinking about. Because I was doing that right now as I was speaking, just like, clicking on this server, click on this server, click on this server, not even fucking reading anything, just completely absent-mindedly just circling
you just
shit.
get to the point where you're like, I'm checking all the servers just so that I've seen all the messages, not reading them.
Yeah.
The little dots. I'm looking at a dot right now, and I'm thinking of clicking, but I'm not going to.
And let's really think about these services too. So with Discord, for me, this shit, I have so many servers that I have to click on, each and every one of them over and over again, cycling through them. The same, 100 people maximum in each server, and the same 20 people basically, fans of the PCP, you guys, some offline friends, just over and over, cycling through. Most of the PCP fans are also RFCK fans. Same thing with Discord, same thing with QuickDraw. It's just all these servers, the same people, the most insular thing over and over again, eating up so much of my time, not actually communicating with anyone, not actually engaging socially with these people, just kind of almost consuming their messages like their content, just the same repetitive thoughts over and over again. And the same thing is going on with YouTube, where it's YouTube is just fucking bad. It just literally is fucking bad. There's no good videos at all. And that's I can't think of any videos that I actually think are good. The only subscribers the only channels I'm subscribed to are some news sites, and I think they're pretty good, some indie news and stuff like that. Everything else is just pure fucking content. It's just pure fucking chips that you shovel down your throat. And it's actually a fucking nightmare. I'm subscribed to Company Man. Company Man is the embodiment of everything wrong with fucking society.
It's funny you bring this up, because I was thinking about this a couple days ago, because I think somebody in my Discord server, we were talking about YouTube and BitChute and all that shit, and YouTube alternatives. And I just think the problem, the reason YouTube is so successful isn't even the fact that it's a video delivery platform, even though that's how it started. It's because the algorithm, it's designed, what I've been calling it content grazing, is what it's completely designed around. It's that it just keeps feeding and shoving shit in your face. And that's why people can't leave. Because if you're just a normal person who has no desire to make anything, and you're just going on YouTube to watch stuff, it's so good at just feeding you shit and wasting your time.
And the algorithm is good. It's good for those people. It's really advanced and shows you the sort of stuff that will get you to click on.
It works on me too, and I know exactly what it's doing. I'm being manipulated right now, but I really, I'm interested to see where this title goes, and that's the entire game. And even creators that I like are forced to play the game. So stuff that
exactly.
I like you, but I probably wouldn't watch this. The content's being changed to make me waste more time.
YouTube also
even just before the
implemented
podcast, I was
that
watching
stupid
video.
autoplay that always keeps turning on no matter how many times I turn it off.
Yeah,
and it's
it
just
always
it
switches
gets
back
you,
on somehow.
Yeah, it gets you to watch more stuff, and you don't notice.
Every time that autoplay button starts counting down, I race to turn that toggle off. I'm no, you will not defeat me today. So it's just bad. It's you're saying, there's psychologists on all these companies' payrolls who are designed how can we addict people? And we're all addicted to it. And
that's not a conspiracy. That's not some
that's
weird,
on the books.
off kilter. That's their
business.
Stated purpose and obvious goal. It just it's so transparent. YouTube is so transparently bad. All of these things are transparently bad, and you'd have to be stupid or just intentionally ignorant to not believe it.
The only thing, the only way they're good is that if you're a person who wants to promote your content and you're okay, or at least ambiguous, on leveraging a system that is designed to manipulate people and be complicit with that system. Because that's the business strategy to be a YouTuber, if any of us want our content to be seen, we have to be complicit, and we are going to target our content to waste people's time.
And dude, fuck that shit. That shit's fucking gay. I don't want to be a fucking YouTube man. That shit's retarded.
Well, the problem now is that we
subject,
have.
Now's a good time for me to come in and discuss. I think
you're going back to work.
My plans with this, which is so on the subject. I'll get to it, but I'll just start at the beginning since we're talking about our year or whatever. So trying to do a YouTube thing. It was around it was May with Mia Maffa 2. That I announced I was going to be leaving my job, which I did July 1st on my birthday. So I did Mia Maffa 2 and started doing, making a schedule to try to do weekly videos. Haven't always succeeded, doing better as time goes on.
How did Mia Maffa 2 get received, by the way? Were people as
there
happy?
There was a great deal of not as good as Mia Maffa 1 going on, which is fair. People enjoyed it. There are several videos that are well liked in there, but overall there was nothing as, for example, one of the videos that people like a lot from that is the Nate reviews PCP finances video, the one that I really enjoy doing it too, where I go over my payment calculator, give some little financial advice, et cetera, et cetera. That's one that people seem to like and think of as a really good video for me. But I mean, in my mind, that's nothing compared to the success of, for example, Communist fucking sunglasses are not orange, or whatever the exact title of that is, or I don't know, a couple of the other ones for me, a math of a 1. So, in short, like the feeling that I'm trying to get at. Well, okay, well I'll summarize that, but I'll just say that for the rest of the year, it's been Nate had this plan that he put on his Patreon and whatnot of, excuse me, now that I'm full-time YouTube, quit my job, et cetera, et cetera. As I'm doing this stuff, I'm trying to make weekly content and then also release the bigger projects like in the off time. Once I, now I have more time to work on stuff. I should have time to do both of those things. My hope was to get one big video out a month. Thought that might have been ambitious. Well, strictly speaking, it's been about 5 or 6 months now, and I only have one quote-unquote big video out, which was the Sans Smash one, which wasn't even particularly big. And, I've worked on a couple bigger things, but nothing particularly successful. So, okay, so and now we're very close to the end of the year. So, on summarizing all these events, I feel like I'm noticing a pattern here, which is that there's the factor that Mia Mathova 2 distinctly did not do as good as Mia Mathova 1 in terms of people's interest and whatnot. And, of course, there's the fact that I fucked up and failed my daily video thing in the middle of Mia Mathova 2. That was deeply unfortunate and entirely my fault. There were some copyright things on YouTube that caused me to fuck up, but, ultimately it's up to me to fix that stuff. So what I'm trying to say is that, like, Mia Mathova 2 did not have the same staying power as Mia Mathova 1 for various reasons. The Weagawas that I've been releasing since the end of, since going full time, just comparing the numerical views hasn't even been close to, like, peak Mia Mathova content, peak Weagawa content in, like, I think, like, early 2018, end of 2017, something like that. And there's probably a couple reasons why. It wasn't that the videos then were, like, so much better or so much more interesting, but to a degree, I think there's a couple things that, with Mia Mathova, I think that I really used my best ideas that I've been saving up for a long time, that I've been wanting to make videos about. There were some legitimate ones that I used in Mia Mathova 2 that people liked, like the business one was one of them. There was a couple others. But, like, mostly my ideas were used up in Mia Mathova 1. With Weagawas, that's kind of the same way. The biggest Weagawa I've had was the Kingdom Hearts 3 one. And that was like a triple episode. It took me like a month to make or whatever. And that one actually, did well, like 75,000 views or whatever. Pretty good. My old Weagawas at their peak were getting like, 60, 70, 50, 80,000 views on occasion. Some did significantly better than that. And it's just that the equations are just not working out. And I think there is a malaise. There is a YouTube malaise setting in. And the other factor of note here is that despite, there's been a thing that I had noticed, and I was really hoping to see, which is when people hit 100,000 subs, it sure seems, I've talked about this before, it sure seems like once you break that barrier, people really shoot off and seem to grow quite quickly. It has been an absolutely insane stagnation, hovering just above, like not quite at 101,000, like a little bit below that for the past, like ever since like the first day of Mia Mathova 2 is like when I hit 100,000 or whatever. So that's like 5-6 months or whatever. Or maybe even a little bit more than that. So like totally stagnant growth, views are down across things. And in short, I think that I've identified the problem. And it's just content stagnation. This formula I've been doing ever since Mia Mathova 1. Mia Mathova 1 was an experiment. It was nice, everybody enjoyed it more or less. It was after that I decided, like, Weagawa was born out of Mia Mathova did well. Let's try this for a while. I thought to myself, I will attempt to do this for a good long time and see how it goes. And for a while it worked well, and I had plenty to say and things to do. And I thought I would force myself to make one regularly, and that this would be good for growth and whatnot. The viewership is down. It is not impressive. The subscribers have totally flatlined, so that's not really, doing much good for me. And personally, I feel myself straining to fill that void every week. And like for a while, that was fine, and it didn't matter. I think, though, the other thing is there's like kind of a cultural malaise going on about my channel. And I feel a sense of disappointment overall with the kind of content that Nate is producing with those things. Yeah.
My instinct upon hearing I mean, I've sort of been seeing, but I haven't like looked into the numbers, that Weagawas have sort of not been as impressive as previous ones. My instinct is not that like the Mia Maffa failed. It was that like it's.
Do you
just
mean Mia
been
Maffa or Weagawa?
The second Mia Maffa, like it wasn't as good, and that sort of
yeah.
Like I feel like it's just that like your first Mia Maffa, I think was preceded or like followed. No, it was preceded.
It was
by
right after Galco came out.
The Galco-chan huge video. I think it's just that it's been too long since a big video, as in one that got a lot of views. The Galco-chan, like it, there's no literal actual like correlation between the time you spend on a project and the viewership it gets. But Galco-chan is it was a good video and it was funny.
I worked on it very hard for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I think it's just been a little too long in between that and, the next thing. I mean, I know you've done the Smash videos, but that's a sort of different audience that you've added onto the audience
really
that likes
about
you for your anime stuff.
Yeah.
So like, I think to break whatever malaise this is, I don't know what malaise is, but it sounds funny.
A stagnation.
Like depressing stagnation, sort of like washes over you.
I think it's really just that a big video will kickstart at least, if not views, then interest. Because if you suddenly drop...
Interest is what I'm lacking right now. I totally think so.
If you suddenly drop Ghost in the Shell or some other huge video that is a similarly in-depth analysis, then people will be like, wow, I forgot Best Guy Ever was really good. It's just been a while, I think.
I can't help but feel like we are all partially responsible for this. And the reason I say that is because
I'm happy to pass the buck.
I'm glad to grab that baton in this guilt relay. But the reason I say that is because like we've been pushing you for like months. Every time we bring the subject up, Nate, you got to make more content. You got to make more content. And if you're like yes, the current model as it stands, you should be posting weekly minimum, but posting garbage weekly isn't going to do anything. I'm not saying you're posting garbage. What I'm saying is that if you don't have ideas, then it's almost better to not post anything. Because I'm in the same like issue with Iron Games is that like I want to do weekly videos, but I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not a human content machine. I don't think that every thought that enters my brain is interesting. And even if I do think they're interesting, I have no idea how to extrapolate on it without like actually sitting down and giving it some thought. So it's just like, I don't have it in me to make a video weekly because I don't have one thought a week that is interesting. And as sad as that may sound, it's just the truth.
I mean, it depends on the
that's
not
format.
Sad. Anyone who thinks the opposite is either arrogant or wrong.
Partial. There's some people like Digi are able to produce things pretty good. I think that's
Digi,
more of a unique
has given
thing
us
of him,
a warped perspective on everyone who watches his videos, a warped perspective on what it takes to be a content machine or a YouTube creator. I mean, he says don't do what I do.
Well, it's his format. Not going to work for everybody, but yeah.
Well, it's just sort of like he is like very good at coming up with a lot of interesting things.
Yes.
Well, I don't even...
And I think it's mostly because of his like big autism that he can do that. Like most people can't articulate themselves.
Are you saying you have to be at least a level 3 autist to be a YouTuber?
As he does. I'm saying to do the sort of like unavoidably by being associated with him in the Pro Crastinators podcast. I think all of us had at some point in some way compared ourselves to each other, and Digi as especially because he's the most successful.
I had success with like Mia Maffa, which was why, and it's true, Mia Maffa was inspired by this like video a day thing that like Digi had done and other people had done. So I wanted to like just do my own. And then, I decided to turn that into like a weekly show or whatever. And, haven't delivered on it. But like, I think even just, so yesterday at the time of this recording, I posted a new video, Who is Your Sunflower? Which was like that was a video that I spent about 2 weeks working on, which was like it was kind of originally conceived as just like an AMV, and then I built it up from various pieces,
Nate,
from various things I was thinking about.
Before you get into this,
sure.
Why did you use like the parody like analysis channel voice, like the I'm so deep sort of voice that you used in that other video?
There's nothing subtle about it. It's that my parody voice is in fact the one I was being sincere with, because I felt it tonally was appropriate for the tone I was trying to achieve. So I mean, if I failed to convey that, if everyone felt it was a joke, well, whoops.
I didn't feel it was a joke. I could tell it was sincere. It was just sort of like weird that you were doing a jokey, like it felt like a jokey voice. But
that's understandable.
I liked the message in it. So
it's just that. Well, okay, cool. I mean, uncharacteristic of me, which is why I put that intro at the very beginning, where I spell out it's an unironic field post. I want people to be very clear that this was, in fact, just I'd been thinking about a bunch of stuff lately, and they all happen to be sincere sadness about things in my past. And I was thinking about, this Post Malone song, and Spider-Man, and Cowboy Bebop, and Samurai Champloo, and Gurren Lagann, and blah, 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 and, the Boondocks and whatnot. And I just was like, I'm just going to make a thing, It's not a joke. It's it's real. And so far,
do you have a more sincere voice that you could have put on, or was that like the way you just thought to do it?
I mean, I recorded that with like just a low, kind of hushed voice, which happens to be similar to a guy named Anime Eternal, who I collab with sometimes.
That's the guy.
Yeah, I like that guy a lot. He's much smarter than me.
I can't take anime as it is, but Eternal anime, that's just taking it way too far.
Tell to him.
I think he has.
Well, yeah. I mean, there probably were other types of voices I could have done, but I mean, I don't know. I'll just accept that some people might be confused.
The entire time.
I just felt like talking in a quiet voice was appropriate.
I think it sounds more like Anime Eternal sounds like your serious voice, as opposed to you put on a jokey voice.
Well, I mean, the Anime Eternal does not have a silly voice, He just has a serious voice.
Well,
but
you're just connotating that voice.
It's the association thing.
With these shit.
I understand. And I totally understand if people who are familiar with my work are confused by that.
I haven't watched the video yet, so I can't.
But I'm not trying to break your balls.
What we were saying.
It was a nice video.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I appreciate that. So it's only been out for like a couple hours now, but like the response is people seem to like it. I've gotten a couple things. These are outliers. People are like, "Oh, Nate's best video in a long, long time." So I appreciate it very much. But I mean, the point is, so like there's that video, and then like I made a Wiagawa, the one before this, and the one before that was another like edited like a YMS parody video, but it did convey like thoughts I wanted to say, and they took more effort and more time to do, but I had a better time making them. And like the views of that last one of the Konosuba wasn't like amazing, but was good. Was on the upper side of what I would hope for these. So like I basically, in short, what I'm trying to say is that like I'm trying to make new types of videos that take more effort, are more creative and interesting, because I'm trying to spark some more interest. Because I really feel I've overcharged and I've run my credit out on like the goodwill I've amassed from the old videos, and I have to make more. And
kind of like the
on
opposite
this front,
we were talking about with like Hippo just like earlier. It's like you're out of that good graces period now.
Yes. Well, I mean, the everything comes in cycles, right? So it's just a cycle,
Sure.
and we're at different points in the cycle. I would say, So in short, I suppose this is an announcement. It isn't a crazy thing, but I have in fact decided that for the sake of these things, and for the sake of like these projects are good, Smash videos are good, big videos are I think what people really want. I get it, get all that. I will in fact for the new year. And I forgot to say that like I'm in the midst. I'm about halfway through this like year of experimentation of trying out full-time YouTube. If it fails, I will get a job, whatever. But it's time for a new chapter in that experiment. And so like in the new year, I will in fact be just formally saying Wiagawas will not be weekly anymore. They're going to become like Wiaga whenevers. and I'm going to just devote that time instead to producing things that I hope people are more interested in, and that like I actually really sincerely want to make, which will include Weagawas whenever there's like one I want to make a video on. There's one I happen to have a couple of ideas right now for like 1 or 2 I'm going to make at the start of the year, but it's just I'm deprioritizing those, and I think that, you know, I mean, I told people I would make those. I'm going to change the terms, let my patrons know. If they don't like it, that's totally understandable. But just, like, considering how stagnant the channel has been, and when I see guys like, I don't know, take your Nakey Jakeys, for example, take any of these other guys, they're making passion projects. And that's where I started. That's where I should be. And I feel that's the real place where growth of a channel lies.
Yes.
So, like, whatever, man. I'm here to burn money and to try experiments on my YouTube channel. So that's exactly what, it's time to change tax. This one isn't working out as well as I had hoped it would. So I'm changing tax. The new year's going to be, you know, hopefully time for big projects and stuff. So we'll see how fast that goes, since if I don't have to get Weagawas done every week.
Nate, I want to give you a round of applause, because I've been waiting for this moment for like since the first math of a. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm on Best Guy Ever right now, scrolling through the channel right now, and you can just see visually, based upon the thumbnails, you can see it go from, you know, a bunch of like weird different thumbnails that all are like, okay, so you've got like weird ass musical parodies down here, PS4 Man, Trash Man, you know, Lolly Grace level all time. Then you've got the Best Anime Evers, which are fucking classics. Then you have like your first weird voice acted AMV, the Kingdom Hearts lecture, and then it transitions, you know, through the first Miyamatha into like the same thumbnail over and 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 over again.
Indeed.
And I think that it's clear that in order to become, you know, even if you want to play the game, so to speak, even if you want to become a, you know, a successful YouTuber and not just, you know, a pure artismo, which is, you know, perfectly valid and good, you still need to have some sort of uniqueness about you. And the sort of thing about Weagawas, when they're forced, you know, this doesn't mean that, like, so there's a few Weagawas, especially in the beginning, that, you know, felt not like crazy, like groundbreaking or anything, but still felt like they were from you. But more and more over time, I've popped in a few, and they just seem a bit more like generic in a way, and it's just because it's hard to make content. Like, you know, it's hard to make content. You have to be a certain type of person. Your average
human only has so many things that they really have a passion for or energy to talk. And like, because I think that I'm in the highest effort, lowest profit margin between the area of like highly produced, really unique content that people really like, and the alternate extreme, which is like your fucking like The Quartering, or I don't know, like any of like the daily news who produce like 5 news pieces a day. Yeah. Which again, that works really well for them. The other side can work really well if you make good stuff, which I like to think I can. But the place in between that I'm in now feels like it's like, what do they call a sour spot, to reference my Zoomer Smash player friends here. Yeah. I just think that it's not been delivering what I would hope it to deliver to justify continuing as is. So gotta try something different. So there's nothing dramatic here. Nothing crazy is changing. If anything, I hope to just be giving people more of the stuff they've been waiting for. And if I take a financial hit in the meantime, I mean, hey, that's exactly why I saved up a bunch of fucking money so I can do that. But hopefully I'll just get people the things they really care about faster. And that's it. That's my story. So that's what I'm doing this year.
I feel like Weagawas are, for the most part, not what people sign up for, and I don't mean that in the sense that it is like, you know,
I get it.
The formula is different than when they wanted.
Your
I don't think that really
Nate
matters
head
to people.
enjoys a Weagawa just fine, but if you want to grow, you can't rely on Nate heads. You got to pull in the new people. So I feel like there's a sweet spot to be found between Weagawas and just Best Anime Evers. You know, something.
I feel like what people are missing are not so much like just like the literal format of Best Anime Evers.
There is barely any format to it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Scripted content, but
it's just about the sort of feeling of freshness, the sort of feeling of it being kind of a little bit different than you would normally
feel
expect. And more
in the last
effort.
2 like edited ones I did, the Konosuba and this new one, I hope people feel that, because I felt that while making them, and I loved writing the scripts and paring them down. What's that, Tom? What'd you say?
Passion is tangible. So
yes,
I feel
it's definitely easy to sense.
I think that's really
important.
When
you don't have it.
Because like when you're trying to play the YouTube algorithm has turned a lot of us from artists into marketers, and we're all pretty shitty marketers, it seems.
Yeah.
So like that's the thing that I've been feeling a lot. It's just like this constant pressure to like try and feed the algorithm, and it's just exhausting because my brain just doesn't want to work like that. I just have certain things that I want to make. There's that
if
constant,
it turned out, sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, like, it's just there's this constant like desire to like climb the ladder and get higher and do better and make more money and get to the dream of like this is sustaining me and this is all I have to do. But it's like at the same time, if I'm playing the game and like I build a career off playing the game, I'm not doing what I want to do. Exactly. So I've just like built a better prison?
You just have a job. You just have a job.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm a beast of burden. I'm here to do a job. I've got to give things to my patrons. I've got to, make sure the videos get out there and attract more.
I mean, that's fine.
We shouldn't forget the goal, which was to make things that we enjoy. So, as with all things, there's a balance to be found. Of course.
Right.
Of course.
I think. So for me, I really enjoy your early content, and it's not like if I were to say to you like. I enjoy that.
When I heard like Gib here recently was giving me some compliments on them, and I feel like you and Gib are similar. If I can get you guys to enjoy my content, that's a very good sign that I'm reaching a wider audience other than Nate Head, like anime fanboys. I want like human beings to enjoy the content, Yeah.
Not
just
fucking freaks.
Not lowly Nate Heads with their shrunken Coomer brains. Yeah.
God, okay, listen. The Holocaust was
Not to
bad,
the Nate Heads.
but what if instead of the Jews, it was the Nate Heads? I think like the formula for the Holocaust wasn't bad. It was just that particular time period.
Nate Heads are the most oppressed minority. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, wait, I just want to say before we go, like, I don't mean when I say that I liked your early content more, I don't mean that it's like you have to now do musicals again. Like, it's not about the tangible, like, it's not about going back to those formulas again. It just is about that sense of sort of wonder and like you don't really know what to expect and just sort of
I think a great
Nate, do TikTok, see how that goes.
Oh,
that's a great idea.
Actually,
Mage.
You know what? Yeah, Nate, completely sell out and just pump out videos every single minute.
Yeah, I said this, I think, last PCP or whatever, but like, we all love Digi here, but like with his release of his like top 25 or like the first half of his top 50 videos, it's like, I think Gibbs said it, like, finally a Digibro video. There it is. Yeah. We've been waiting for it. And I feel like people can finally be like, finally, a Best Guy Ever video. I've been waiting for years. I've been watching all this bullshit. It's just, I'm not even trying to like devalidate it like the other things can't be good, but like we just know what people want. You just know what they're there for. And why fight that common sense, I think? We can rationalize all day, but I think people would much rather have Ghost in the Shell, Best Anime Ever, rather than, 10 episodes of Wiagawa or something like that.
I mean, the Digi list is like, it's not necessarily like I know that Digi loves to make this video. It's because
I love to watch it. I know that much.
But I do know that he likes lists, and when he does a list, he does it better than any other top 10 list or list of any. He's just the best that there is at making lists of things and recommending things in lists. And it's just sort of like the sort of thing I don't get from, his thoughts on whatever anime is happening.
Even if it's just a question of format, he could make the best argument ever, but if it's in I've listened to many of these, but if it's in the context of a podcasting over PCP episode, or over the PSP, then it just won't be easily shareable or linkable, or I don't know. Not as
I think a lot of the time, though, it's like the analysis is, you can do analysis like very soon after the thing, but in almost every case, hindsight makes your analysis way better, and so a year of or a decade like looking back and all the context and all the ideas and putting them all together, it's just sort of way more satisfying. And that's what I've always loved another Digi's aspect for.
This rewatchability thing, like people go back and watch my old videos, but like who goes back and watch Wiagawas? I mean, it doesn't really happen that much. So you might even do better, like monetarily speaking, spending a long time making a big video. Yeah, it's got to get a bunch of views. But even if in the long term, if people get more, like the lectures to this day almost make more money than like new videos when I post them on my channel, because people love them and they love to go back and watch them. So these are all factors at play.
It's the difference between first impressions and like real thoughts. Real
Yes,
thoughts are
that's
always
true.
cool.
Nate,
I
I'm
agree.
so glad that you still have a soul. I thought you didn't have a soul anymore, but you're actually based and not cringe at all.
Don't give me credit yet until I actually produce things of worth that people want to see. Because honestly, the biggest scary thing for me this entire last year has been like just being self-employed with no gun to my head, which is why like that's one of the main reasons I wanted like a weekly deadline. If I eliminate like a hard deadline, I am terrified. I will just fuck around and fail, but I'm just going to try not to and do my best and know that I've got to deliver for my patrons. Maybe I'll try like every month to make sure I get something to deliver to them. I don't know. I'll figure something out. But
The reason why people are all clamoring for Ghost in the Shell isn't just because it has the words best or the best anime ever in it. It's because it represents something more than that, you know?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Hey, by the way, speaking of returning to our roots, time to get back to what we all really think about.
Oh, no.
Munchy, hold on one second.
It can't be happening.
Get this fucking shit over here. Get this fucking shit. Haha, time to return to what we all think about when we think about Munchy.
No.
Huh? Gotta fucking take a huge fucking piss on the PCP!
Oh, well.
What a way to close
I
out
mean-
the year.
Happy New Year, everybody. I guess you are hearing this on New Year's Day, so congrats.
Shit.
Oh yeah, Happy
Oh.
New Year's.
Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year.
Mage, you want to talk about your year?
I could. Uh,
Go for it, Mage.
Yeah, the floor is yours. Slick with piss.
The slippery floor, yeah.
I really didn't want to talk during
The bathroom floor is now yours.
Sorry, was I interrupting?
Mage, if you want to take a pause, Tom could go, and we could come back.
Yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't blame you.
No,
Yeah?
no,
Tom?
I'm sorry. Listen, no, it can't end like this.
It's not ending. We're coming back. All right.
Sorry,
well,
guys, the show's over.
Yeah,
Is that enough of a buffer, Mage? You wanna take it away?
Tom can go.
What?
Okay. All right.
Oh, okay.
You want to tell us your spiel?
Sure. My year was fucking weird as shit. Cause
Indeed.
You were broken because you didn't exist for
exactly.
all of it.
Yep, he
Like
was broken
8
Tom.
months out of the year was just I want to die.
Shit, was that 8 months?
It was well. I mean,
And a chunk of the year before, right?
yeah. I mean, it got really bad in January. But it had started like November the year before. So
Wasn't death actually on the table for a little bit there?
no, I don't think
It
so.
always is, Munchy. It always is.
Sure.
I mean,
Especially when you're working
friend.
with people like us. You know, the NSA has been
That's
watching
true.
every one of these podcasts.
It's only a
pretty
matter of
religiously.
time before the sting operation finally commences. You know,
We're all on
Radcon
the
4.
do not fly list.
Yeah, we're all fucked. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I got some stuff done. I mean, I worked on the game, which was pretty cool.
Yep.
Me and Digi were doing IM games, and then I left, and I kept doing the channel by myself, and that's been pretty fucking cool.
Tom, life isn't about, getting content done on YouTube. How have you grown as a person? How have you developed spiritually?
Ooh, hey, I've lost a couple of pounds. I'm just throwing that in there. I've lost a couple of pounds going to the gym more. I'm doing
Actually,
better.
I have something to say about
I'm
that
improving.
too, but
Oh, yeah?
later.
Okay, we can maybe talk about that later. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, God.
You must have done some serious life reflection while you were addled.
Well, it's just like because like
Mangled.
the only good thing about the injury was that I didn't like fuck up my hand or something, so I could still
Sure.
work. You know, I could
You
still.
should have. If that would happen, you would have literally killed yourself. I can imagine.
Probably. I've always said that like if I ever go blind or something happens to my drawing hand, I'll just off myself with whatever remains. Because it's just like, what's the point of living at that point? But I don't know. I mean, I've just been like working on the game and stuff, and I've come to the conclusion that I hate level design a lot. It was very strange because like I started the year working on the game, and I released the demo in May, I think, on Newgrounds. I put it up in May, and it got like one of the game of the months for on Newgrounds stuff, which is cool. So it's like, oh, this is like going over well.
Right.
It's going over better than I expected. People seem to like it, so I kept working on it, and I haven't done a lot of like public updates since then. But the gameplay's gotten a lot tighter. The game plays really fucking well. Not to toot my own horn or anything.
Wait,
but I
so you're
think,
saying that Azumi's gotten tighter? Usually it gets the opposite of that, Tom.
yeah,
Usually
you know.
the opposite of that happens.
right? But this is
Gross.
fantasy, so it can be whatever I want it to be.
Right.
Which is
Reality can
handy.
be whatever I want.
Yeah, exactly. So that's good, I guess. And I want people to play it, but I'm like, oh, I have to make a level. There's like a level that people can play. And there needs to be a boss because that's how levels work. So I designed the boss, and that was pretty cool. But then I was riding high on game design, like, oh, this is great. This is always what I wanted to do. I'm making a game. It's fucking cool. Then I get to the level, and I'm like, how the fuck do you make a fun level? I don't understand. So I read a bunch of articles, I watched a bunch of videos, and I heard people like say this is what you do. And inevitably, I just came to the conclusion that I hate level design a lot. I have no interest in doing it whatsoever.
Ain't it always that way?
And it's funny because I was playing God of War yesterday, the new God of War for PS4.
Right.
And I was playing it, and the combat was super fun. And every time I had to stop and do like level stuff and puzzles, I'm like, this is gay. I just wanted to be over. And then I realized I just hate levels in video games. I just want to be locked in a room punching things. Because there's one part of the game where you're just riding an elevator and enemies keep spawning in. And that was my favorite part of the game. Like, this is all I want to do. I just want to kill things. I have no interest in, like, solving stupid gay puzzles. Boring, lame, don't like it. So, Are
you going to change Azumi into an arena fighter where you just go in and then...
I haven't figured it out yet, because I want to finish... Like, I have, because I've been working with a couple people to help with, like, some textures and, like, some character design and stuff. Very minimally, just because... this guy Daniel, he reached out to me on Twitter. He's like, I want to work with you on stuff. I'm like, well, okay.
Of Daniel fame?
Not that Daniel, unfortunately. I would definitely be leveraging that social media credit if it was the case. But so he said he would design a level, even though he has no level design experience. So we just kind of like threw things together to try and build a level. And I've been gray boxing it, which is just like when you do the rough layout without any final visuals or anything like that. And nothing I do is fun. It's like passable at best. And because it's just passable at best, and I have no idea how to make it better than passable at best, all my like desire to finish is just extinguished. Which is why I did nothing but play God of War for like 40 hours straight over the last 3 days. Because I'm just like, I don't care.
You know, I get that. I know it's hard, but like, don't set the bar too high for how good your level. Like, not every level. It's not like a puzzle platformer where like you're there to like understand these like complicated mechanics. If you just put some places to jump and there are enemies there to kill on the way, a lot of the time that's enough to satisfy. You know, if you give it like a nice background, people just enjoy walking around. That can be enough.
I think the reason I'm being so hard on myself about it is because up until this level design point, like when I played the game, like this is like a good game. Like it plays exactly how I would want a game like this to play. It feels like something I would purchase. Like I am proud of this. And then you get to the level, I'm like, this is not satisfactory. Even as somebody who doesn't really enjoy the levels so much as the combat, like there still needs to be something there. And it's just like, I just feel like it's just like a straight line with a couple jumps and it's just not engaging or interesting.
Tom, I got it. I have the solution. Here it is. Are you ready for this?
All right, go.
Level design contest. The winner of the level design contest gets their level implemented in Azumi.
But you actually just implement all of the entries. So you don't have to do it anymore.
And just use all the entries, but at least one. And then maybe it'd give you ideas. At the very least, you could get some people interested in working on it. Why not, I say? Why not?
I mean, I already basically did that.
I feel like this is actually like simple. Just don't make levels. I mean, video games don't have to have levels in them. There are plenty of video games that don't have levels in them.
That's
you could just make a series of like boss room arena things. You could do it. It wouldn't even be weird.
That's the idea. Is like I've been thinking because I've been thinking about. All right, I said that I would deliver this. I'm going to try and finish it in some degree, just because ever since May I said, oh, there's going to be another version out at some point, and I've already put so much effort and work into it, and the mechanics alone are way better than the demo that's online right now, so I have to release it in some fashion. So that's clearly going to happen. But going forward, I'm thinking about, okay, like, what do I want to do, and how do I want... Because, like, I guess something that I've been thinking about, too, is, like, the Azumi as a character, I think, has a lot of potential. I think she has a great design. People have, like, resonated with the character a lot more than any of my other characters. Got that furry bait, I guess, and people are into it.
Shout out to Oren.
Oren. Hey, Oren's fucking cool, dude. I love Oren. That model of Oren.
Shout out to Trixie the pony.
Yeah.
my most famous OC by far.
Indeed.
Yeah, still mad that Hasbro just stole her straight up without crediting me at all.
Same thing with Bud Mash. They did it with Bud Mash too. Can't believe them.
Disgusting degenerates, all of them over there at DHX. But Azumi as a character, I think, was really well received. She got tons of fan art and stuff, and like I can tell that like I've fucked up when the fan art drought begins, because they were coming in at a pretty steady clip in the beginning, but now it's like once in a blue moon. I'm just like, I'm not putting out enough. Well, this to switch gears from artist to marketer for a second is like one of the big problems I noticed with the game. And I actually, if you recall, I posted a poll a few weeks ago asking why people followed me to try and answer this question, because I was realizing the game, like, it just takes so long to do stuff, and the updates that I'm working on aren't like outwardly interesting, you know, because like I finished the demo in March, and like from March until the end of October I worked on the game constantly, and there were tons of fucking improvements. Like I added a branching combo system like Devil May Cry. I refined all the graphics. I changed the hit detection and the hit stun, so everything just feels better and plays way nicer. But none of that's visual. So every time I post and say like, hey, look, it's a new like attack animation, like nobody cares, because it looks exactly the same. It's still the same room. It's still the same sprites. So like, it's not building any momentum. So there's really no way to promote this in the usual sense, because like until I get to a point where there's more visuals, there's nothing to attract people again. And the whole thing of doing visuals, making the levels, is a nightmare, and I don't like it. So what I wanted to do, what I was thinking for next year, is that like another big problem I have is that like because I'm just looking back at myself over the last decade or whatever, and all the projects I've done, even before MLP and things like that. And I'll make a project. It will grow immensely in scope. It will collapse in on
That's
itself
already the biggest problem right there.
under its weight, and then I will lose interest. And this is like happened multiple times, and I can already see it happening
to everybody
again with this game. I'm like, because like it started as like a simple little demo, a little arena. And that was really all the scope was going to go. And then it's like, well, maybe I'll do a level. Because one of the biggest comments that I got, like, critiquing the game on Newgrounds was like, I want there to be more to do. Like, it sucks that I'm just in an arena. I want to jump around and move on a level. Oh, well, I guess I'll make a level. So
I don't know about you, Tom. I feel like I would love it if like some authority figure was over me telling me the right move to make and imposing limitations like on what I'm allowed to do. And then within those constraints, I'm sure I could do a great job. But the fact that like I have to control the scope of things, the production of things, the deadlines of things, all
the marketing.
To me, the marketing as well. It's very intimidating, and I feel like I don't optimize all of those aspects at the same time.
I definitely don't optimize any of those things, but I do enjoy being the captain of my own ship. I've never enjoyed employment, just because like I've never had a job where I'm invested in what I'm doing. And I'm sure there's probably a possibility of that somehow, some way. But I have all these ideas that I want to do, and a job to me is like financially great. Security, benefits, cash flow. That's all nice. But it just takes away from time. And time is the most valuable resource for everybody. So
indeed. Time is social currency, as they say.
Yeah, sure. So
hey,
what's up?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think at some point before you'd mentioned that ultimately you would like to make an Azumi game in 3D, running around and stuff.
Absolute. But I don't.
I think.
All right, go.
Is that like in any way, like, are you like resisting moving on to that, even if you may want to do it more, if this level thing, because you feel the need to finish your current project?
Well, okay. The engine that I'm using right now only does 2D games. So to move to 3D would mean learning a new engine, which is fine. That's totally fine. I knew that going in. I knew that was a limitation. I'm fine with learning more. Like, I'm pretty good at amassing technical skills if given myself the time. The problem is, of course, learning technical skills is not marketing. Nobody cares that you're taking time learning things. They won't support you for learning. So that just means you have to create more content on top of learning, which is, a time problem, not an interest problem. My whole thing that I've been considering over the last couple weeks or so is that I want Azumi to work. I've said this a couple times, and I kind of lost track when doing this game. Is I wanted her to be like a brand, like to like be a character that was in multiple kinds of media, just to keep it in the public consciousness. Right? This is like the marketing hat on right here. Because like if I can do like short little animations, little animated GIFs, and like little comic strips on Twitter, and like do cute little designs and stuff, like kind of like Hello Kitty but edgier, something like that.
Cool. Hello Raccoon.
Yeah. So like just a way of like having it be a multimedia project. And I was thinking like I could do small, simple little like web games that could take like a month to do from start to finish. It had a simple little like maybe a touchscreen gimmick or something like that, and that could just be like something similar to what Ben did with the Champion, how the first part of the Champion's a small little game. Do little things like that, build up the skills. And so there's no big, huge, massive fucking time sink. That way I can't overscope things because they're designed to be small. And I don't ever like run into the problem where I inevitably just run out of steam on the interest because the projects are all designed to be small in scale. And so I've been thinking about doing that and like doing little animations and stuff like that. And I was working
the little cutscene you did for the Rowdy Fuckers Cop Killers Whoopity saga was really good.
Yeah, that was probably like got the most positive feedback out of anything I've done, like the last half of the year easily. And I had fun doing it.
Tapped into a whole separate arena basically with that. So
yeah. I mean, it's interesting too because like doing that, I had another thought because I was doing level design while working on that at the same time, and I'm just like, well, maybe the problem, and I think I made a tweet about this too, that 2D level design is very esoteric. Like you're not creating a physical space, you're creating a gameplay sort of stage. Whereas you're working in 3D, you are creating physical spaces, and you're just optimizing the physical spaces to facilitate an interesting gameplay experience. And so it's two different ways of thinking about things. Because like if I said, like, because right now the level I'm working on is a factory level, and so I can't think how do you build a factory. The thought is like, how do I position these platforms to be fun? And it's different. Where because if I'm just building it in 3D, it's like, okay, let's build this factory setting and then put the character in there and then see how you go from there. So I feel like one of the reasons I gravitated to 3D over 2D the last like year and change anyways was because it was more tangible, like it was more physical in terms of just like it was less esoteric thinking. It's not like, how do I do foreshortening? How do I make this character look 3D in a 2D plane? Because I always fucked up with my brain. I knew how everything looked in my mind, I just couldn't translate it in that abstract fashion. Whereas in 3D, it's just you're literally making the thing one-to-one that you're imagining. And so with level design, it might even be the same thing. If I just can build a physical space that like I understand with like 3-dimensional spatial awareness as opposed to this weird abstract thing that I'm doing now with 2D, perhaps that would be better. So going forward, I want to like really leverage the branding and the marketing and make the character much more multimedia. I want her to be a character first and not like a video game character. I want that to just be one aspect of it, even though the Moonshot project is this awesome 3D game that will blow everyone's minds and be the sickest thing ever made by a human.
Yeah.
I'm sympathetic to that. I totally think of it the opposite way. Like the game only exists to facilitate fun gameplay. All other aspects like come at the expense. If it's, as Reggie famously said, if it's not fun, why bother?
Right.
So like when it comes to the project, I mean, I'll tell you, the crossover of the century you need to do right now, you got to put Azumi in Music Jumper featuring QT Bass Drop and put him right into that music jumping level. And let me tell you, the 2D worlds that I've created in there, superlative. They are ready to go. I think we made like, I probably designed like 5-6 levels for that game. But I mean, you need somebody who thinks that way, who's, I don't know.
And that's kind of
I wish
another...
I had more time because I'd like to help you with this. I'm just so fucking stuck.
I mean,
with
that's the
all
whole
these
thing.
projects.
I have so many things that I'm juggling on top of like trying to do the I Am Games YouTube channel. I want to start streaming again.
Here's just a thought, Tom. If you have a demo or whatever, like the latest demo was with the current mechanics, if you could send that to me in some capacity, I'm sure I would enjoy tinkering around with it, and then maybe I would have time to just like in my downtime like sketch out a level that I just think would be fun. So like if you have one that's playable in any capacity, I would love to just tinker around with it because I think I could perhaps at the very least provide some insight if you want to make like a level design, because it sounds like you might just do arena stuff anyway. But
I mean, it really depends. I mean, the idea
you can make like I'm imagining like a sort of like boss tower rush sort of scenario. Like it's not as though it has to be one like
but in a 2D platformer,
but you can play around
will
your
always be
strengths,
crucial.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, your guy has like a fucking dash. I think it has like a wall jump or like a wall climb or something. It's got long range attacks. It's got short range attacks. All of those things, when a player is playing the game, should be on their mind of like, okay, I'm in this situation in this 2D environment. Which of these tools do I need to use right now? And you need like a boss that like has tells that let you know which of those you can do. You need like an arena structured in such a way that you can utilize those in like an efficient way to like avoid attacks for high level players or like tank them as best you can for like low level players and make their way through. Like those are the sorts of things that are a factor. So yeah, I want to dig my teeth into it. So if you can get it to me, I would love to sometime.
Have you considered like when I think level, I usually think left to right platforming. But have you considered like a game that has like very small, thin floors that you're trying to get to the top of a tower?
Yeah.
And like a lot of it is like getting up and zooming up.
There's I mean, I have like 3 level concepts, and the third level would be a vertical level that I wanted to do, and like a cityscape. So I've been thinking about a lot of these things.
Dude, imagine like fucking wall jumping up skyscrapers as a raccoon girl.
That's pretty much the idea.
That's sick.
And like that would have been a good enough idea, but then again, overscoping, I'm like, and then a fucking giant monster appears, and then it has like these big scales, and then you jump on the scales and jump up a monster as it's walking through, destroying the city. I'm just like, I don't even know how I'd make that, but it sounds fucking
cool idea, but
so you know.
I think if you want to like lower the scope, just like I don't know how you would do procedurally generated, but like you have like a small box arena, or like a tall sort of rectangle arena as a floor, and then there's enemies spawn, and you have to try to get to the top, and if you fall down, whoops, you fall down, you idiot, and you got to try to get to the top and then get to the next floor, and there's more enemies on the next floor, and you just do that for like, I don't know, 100 times.
Sure.
Just have 100 procedurally generated
it's called
levels.
gameplay, baby.
And then it gets harder and harder, and it's like, oh shit, oh fuck, and then maybe it's like the opposite of Downwell. Maybe there's a monster trying to bite you from the bottom, and you got to try and get to the top real fast.
I've been a little bit silent because I've been thinking about it. Based upon what you've been saying, Tom, here is the Munchy best like case scenario. Like here's my pitch to you. Given the fact that you want Azumi to be like a character that can exist through different mediums and through it can be like a franchise in a way. I think cutscenes are going to be crucial to you in her first appearance. It's going to endear the audience to her make them more likely to consume more of the things that she's in.
Make sure you get a big-titted voice actress to voice Azumi. That's essential
go on
for marketing.
Fiverr.com. Yeah, hire me, please. I could do my best, Azumi. But I think literally,
I know a furry or two.
Literally, why not just have like a short game, maybe like an hour, that just is literally like a boss rush scenario, like bare bones. Don't even try and do level design if it is inhibiting you to such a degree where you are so unlikely to do it. Just like make a short game with a lot of nice cutscenes, get something done, be able to point to it and say, hey, listen, there's a real game. It's not just like a really small demo. It's a real game, it doesn't have levels, but it's a cool boss thing. And then once you have that under your belt, then you can branch off into more things, more ambitious projects, and you'll still have that one, foot in the door, so to speak, and you can branch off into other mediums as well as you want. Just like get the audience introduced to Azumi in as not like fast in the sense that it's like a cheap, substanceless way, but fast in the sense that it's like you're not overthinking the first step of this big multi-step plan.
My favorite game of all time is Tower of Heaven on Newgrounds that you can beat in 10 minutes. It's the greatest game ever made. I absolutely love it. I'll recommend it to everyone in the world. So you know what? The formula can work.
Maybe this sort of thing, like there isn't a term for this, I don't think, but sort of like a short game, like a short film. It's not a huge thing. It's not the largest project ever, but it gets interest for the property, so that if you do go on to make a bigger thing, you've got an established thing. So yeah, like a short game.
You could even call it like maybe Chapter 0 to say they have to play the sequel when it comes out.
Or maybe even just like a long cutscene on YouTube, like a cool cutscene that's like, wow, Azumi's epic.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't wait to play the game, and then
a lot more animation, just because like it's 3D. Like, why not? The animation is like not nearly as labor intensive as doing something in 2D. And I've been working on like new like shaders and stuff for like the character to make it look even more stylish and cool, because I definitely have ideas for that. And I mean, the idea, I think long term, going forward, is just like get the character in front of as many people as possible, whether through animations and comics and like short little games. ideally, I would build up enough like clout to be able to like kickstart or some form like a big project and work with people and be able to pay people and have like an actual legitimate production and make like a real indie game hashtag trademark, you know.
You gotta start somewhere though.
Right, and that's why I think like the overscoping right now is a huge problem because I'd rather just get stuff out, which is why I want to try and just get something released.
You gotta start no scoping.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
You know what you do? You start a Kickstarter.
That's actually a little bit apt, unironically. That kind of like makes sense genuinely, and when you
I don't know how much.
You just be careful.
It's like how. In Shovel Knight, for example, and a couple other games, they had like Kickstarter donation tiers where like at a certain tier you get your OC like as a boss, and those bosses have paid off gangbusters with the success of Shovel Knight. So start a Kickstarter to be able to fund a donation to another Kickstarter for a big game where you can include your OC as a character in other properties. Hey, tell me where the foolish plan is. This is a brilliant plan. That's my suggestion.
I did, I don't know if people remember, but like the little demon character, the end of Bale's Ape, was an OC that got put in the comic because they won
the fairy with the big eyes?
Yeah, the Pumpkin Frisker fan art contest that I had for no reason.
I did forget about that. That's dope.
All right, sick. Is there anything, I mean, this has been a very, very, very Azumi-centric goal, like powwow here.
That's true.
Is that really the only thing on your plate? I mean, do you have any, I mean, I said as a joke earlier, but do you have any, like, other personal stuff you want to do, or is it just like, I want to create Azumi, period, done, goodbye?
I mean, I want to get healthier, because I still am not 100% with my back, back surgery and stuff. That was fun. So that's definitely kind of weakening the ability to do other things. It's like, I think the biggest like unfortunate aspect of this year was that like I started in January like super fit, super diet, going to gym all the time, and then all that died, all those gains gone, all that godhood
that is unfortunate,
relinquished.
But don't forget, Tom, it was only a year. It never takes that long to get back in shape. So I absolutely feel for you. You were really killing it.
I mean, the problem is just that I can't start again yet. I'm still not there.
Right.
So I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do it again. Because like there's a chance that just you can't recover.
Dicks. There's always some things one can do.
You can't recover from a broken dick. Sorry, you just.
Well, you're right.
Let's not lie to the people.
Well, I saw a pornography by one -8 the other day where a girl was having sex with a man in this animation. It was the thing where she was riding him, and it did like the dick snap. The dick snapped as she was, going up and down. But luckily, her and the other girl in the animation gave him loving kisses on his penis, and in no time he had fully healed and was ready to have sex more. And I assume that's exactly what's going to happen with you, Tom.
Pause.
Yeah.
You can draw porn?
Imagine that.
No.
I think all my monetary problems have just been solved,
through
boys.
Tom's head right now.
Izumi
my whole world
porn
just got
is the
turned
next
around.
game. What is it? A meet and fuck Izumi. I'm looking forward to it on newgrounds.com, everybody.
Yes.
How exciting.
My plans have been totally changed.
You know what you gotta do, Tom?
Do
if you're able to do so, your spine might be completely, unable to perform any actions whatsoever. But if you become well enough in order to do it, you should definitely come over and lift with me and Ben, because it's awesome and great, and lifting is like the coolest thing you can do, and it makes you feel like a fucking god. And that way, it's an excuse to hang out too.
That's true. I was.
How often do you guys
year.
get together and do that, Munchy?
So we haven't. So Ben and Caroline lift a lot more than I do because I've been swamped with school, and it's so Ben lives like an hour away from me, and so when I'm like knee deep in school, it's hard to get up there. And I've only just basically
Do you have a school gym? I assume your gym at school is the library, of course, because that's where you work out your brain. I understand. Okay.
The gym. Okay, well, the gym in my school is pitiful and does not have a single rack in it. There is a gym nearby that I'm able to use and get into free for because I'm a student at this particular college. But Ben can't get in because he doesn't have a school ID.
Right.
And so I have to go up, and it's fun, and I prefer doing it in the comfort of his home rather than in like a public gym. But it's hard to do on any sort of regular basis. Though we made a pact that we want to try and do it more. But it's been one of those things I've been doing. I am now counting my calories every day, and it's awesome.
Oh my God, incredible. Fantastic.
Since I came here, I lost like 20 pounds or something.
Jeez, that's crazy. Insane.
What a
way to
god.
go, dude.
Yeah, my diet is definitely something I'm gonna get back on next
Good
year.
man.
Well, I mean, as soon as possible. I would do it right now, but I know that like Christmas and then I'm doing New Year's at Sabres Sparks Place. We're going there, going down to Atlanta. So
that's nice.
I'm gonna get totally BTFO'd for the last 2 weeks of the year. So I'm just like, fuck it.
Hey, it never hurts, even if you're eating too much. I think just getting in the habit of counting calories is always a good thing. But hey, fair enough, man.
You can like count your calories and not even try to eat less, and you just will eat. Or not
that's what I'm
eat less,
saying,
but
dog.
eat better.
That's what I'm saying. It just happens. That's
Right.
the whatever diet, the W diet. It's based.
As long as
thoroughly
you,
red
as soon as just awareness is really important. Like if you know,
Exactly.
it's just like, oh fuck. Because like I don't think about it 90% of the time. Because like there's no numbers on any of my food as I eat it. We don't have those robot enhancements yet that can just say you've consumed 18 calories with that bite.
We do have phones though. Just download MyFitnessPal, man.
I look
but
up at the
that's-
back of the package. They usually say how many calories is
the
for
one.
like 100 grams or so.
Look, that sounds like a lot of manual work, and I'm all about a cybernetic
just-
technology.
Turning
Yeah.
something around.
Yeah.
Sometimes they
I
heat
just,
I don't wanna
but I
burn
was
so many
counting
calories
all
turning
last
something
year.
around.
So I know.
Yeah, I don't want to lose
it's
those
real. It's
gains
real.
by burning those calories by turning it around. That's too much. That's a gain rape situation right there,
Ooh.
and I won't stand for
I
it.
just want to
Yeah.
5 seconds. Like I've been doing cardio
Good,
for 20
good.
minutes every other day for months, and
That's great.
It's good.
Hell yeah.
What,
I
form
don't
is your
count my
cardio? You're on a
calories.
bike?
Yeah, on a bike.
You should.
My
I don't need to count my calories because I don't eat enough. I
I mean,
should
that
eat
might
as
be why you
Well,
should
yeah,
to eat
yeah.
more.
No. I mean, I eat enough, but like I don't eat enough to like have a problem gaining weight ever.
If you say so. If you say so.
If you insist.
I don't know.
Michelle is also a skinny lass, and I tell her to count her calories. She says, "No, I don't need to. I'm not. I'm too skinny. Everyone says I'm so skinny." And I say, "Fuck you," and I stuff a pot roast down her throat. You must
That's what I-
get gains, madam.
I eat food. It's okay.
Food is good.
I
There's
like
better
food
things
too
to
much.
do.
It is a problem.
In
In my natural state, I will play God of War for 45 hours and eat 2 Domino's pizzas. That is, and I'll do
No,
it without
that's
a
the-
second
Sounds
thought.
good.
It's the worst.
That's
My-
the thing, though. When you count calories, you kind of get into a habit of eating less, and then eventually start wanting less. It's just kind of you
I agree.
changes
Well,
your
the
mind.
thing, the thing with like if I need to eat more calories, learning that I'm not eating enough calories will not make me want to buy more food and eat it. It'll just be like, well, I guess I'm not eating enough.
It's harder for
it's-
people who are trying to gain weight. It's true. That's a
Yeah.
more complicated problem in my understanding. Because I was trying to do that in college, and I probably should be eating more right now of the healthier things. But hey, man, we all got ways to improve.
Anyway, Mage,
Yeah.
what has your year been?
It has
indeed.
been quite the year. So let's start with some happy things. Much like Munchy. I also
it, Mage.
stop. No.
Oh no!
Oh, okay, no. Listen, it was a joke. It was
Are
all
you
a
pouring
joke.
apple juice?
What's going on?
All right.
I'm done. I'm done. It was a joke.
Okay, it was a joke. There you go.
I don't
Nothing to
appreciate
fear.
it.
The viewers did.
No.
No, die.
Okay, okay, go.
Please go.
Okay, yeah, so, like Munchy, I also lost around 20 pounds. I think that's like 9 kilograms in the last 3 months or so due to counting calories
nice.
and watching
Great
myself
work.
and stuff. Yeah. Still sort of very slowly making progress on my secret project. I was hoping to reveal it this year, but it didn't turn out so. So I'm hoping for the next year to actually reveal it, what it is and stuff. Part of the reason I don't want to talk about it is just because, like, well, once I put it out there, I don't know, like, what if it fails, and I don't want to disappoint people. But I'm not working on it alone, so I'm hoping for the other half of this duo of people working on it to help me, remind me, and poke me about doing stuff. And yeah, so I'm excited about that. What else good happened in my life? I got a new computer recently for Christmas early. It's really cool. It has It has a new graphics card that has like compatibility with the ray tracing stuff. So once that starts happening in games, I'll be ready. I'm ready. I'm prepared.
Does it have the automatic MRI scans?
Oh,
That's coming out soon for computers.
Automatic spinal surgery adjustment. That'll be nice.
if only.
You know,
Automatic
there's a new
skeleton
update for
removal.
Flux where it just automatically inloads melatonin into your bloodstream when it gets past a certain time.
I'm hoping it'll upload a melanin into my skin so I can get that coveted N-word pass. That would be the ultimate
I've
upgrade
literally
for me.
dreamt about being black all my life. God, you can't let me down. Please give me
2020
transracial
goals
surgery.
for all of us. Let's be real.
I can't remember what this was about, but there was someone called like the Magic Master. Like I saw like some like weird name of some title of some guy, and I was just like, I wish I was the Melanin Master of all things melanin, and could control it in myself and others. That would truly be the ultimate life hack.
A magical girl series
unrelated.
where someone turns black when they go into their superhero mode.
Kind of like Luffy in One Piece. He can turn himself black. Or Vergo. There's this guy Vergo in One Piece who just went fully black.
Literally,
Literally
like
true.
pitch black.
Literally true. Vergo is black.
Not,
What
not-
the
not
fuck?
Racial. Not
All right,
racial
let me just.
black, but
I'll just
doesn't
explain this
matter.
very briefly. It's that so the best example is this guy Vergo in One Piece. After the time skip, there was this thing Haki, and it was eventually it wasn't this way at first, but eventually Haki became a thing that when you basically power up with Haki, it makes you super strong, and it can make your muscles bigger or whatever, and it looks black. And there was this guy Vergo, who when he activates his like particular like full body Haki, he's like a white looking dude. He just becomes a fully black man, and he's insanely muscular. And I showed him on another PCP episode recently, but I never get enough of Vergo. So let me just find him again, real quick. He's the greatest character.
Oh my
in
God,
all
I'm looking at
of
him right
history.
now.
Okay, you got him. Okay, just for the sake of it, make sure you see him in the actual anime. I mean, these images are
God. This again.
absolutely beautiful.
Oh, this
And
guy.
let me get
His
the-
fucking that fucking neck stuff.
This neck one. Look at this
the
neck
fucking
one.
pyramid of flesh around his like.
This is the second
that
time this
doesn't
guy's been
happen.
brought up on this podcast, and I'm not even
He's
upset
the
about
greatest
it.
character in fiction, Tom. Everyone needs to know about Vergo.
Good fucking God.
I love him so
His
much.
name's
I wonder if
Vertigo,
Vergo
but
is
he's
a
very
Virgo.
horizontal. Clearly, look at that.
Look, I'm
Yeah.
just
So
saying,
Mage.
he shouldn't have been Vergo. They should have called him Negro. I'm just saying. That would have been appropriate. That's not a bad word. That's a totally neutral word. Okay, anyway.
I have a marker.
That's just
that
French
is
for
a
black, everybody.
super duper big black marker. And for some reason, it's in like 12 different languages on it. And so in giant, huge letters, it says one after another, super black, super noir, super negro.
Negro. There it is. That's it.
Oh,
That's culture right there,
Incredible.
folks.
Mage, you got a
Okay.
new computer, you lost 20 pounds. That doesn't fucking
yeah.
matter. Tell me about all the real weird spiritual shit and all the art you've been making.
Well, I was gonna, but then you guys started talking about stuff. So
About
Sorry,
One
we had to
Piece
talk
and
about
black
Vergo.
people.
I have been. Oh, sorry for the squeaky chair. I have been working on commissions behind the scenes, so to speak. I never post them. I don't know. I feel weird about posting commissions because, like, it's other people's art now, and I unless they post and tag me, I don't really post it myself. I reblog stuff if they posted, but a lot of people don't post anyway. A few of the commissions are kind of neat because people are like working on projects and they're like, "Hey Mage, I need for you to design a character." Or, "Hey Mage, I need you to design a costume for this character." So I've been doing that. The things I have reblogged, you might have seen on my Twitter. I've been working on some pixel art for a project. A person is doing like a Lionhead Paragon, like a little game on RPG Maker. So I'm doing pixel art for them. For their characters. So that's been sort of fun. Haven't really had much time to draw art for myself just because I've not been doing very well health-wise recently due to like food poisoning and being ill before that. So
Right.
oh dear.
my priorities were commissions and my own art is later. It comes in later. I recently did a commission for Kulex, which is one of our patrons.
Oh, Pizza Chain.
Yeah, I was about
right.
to say.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to post this. I'll ask for permission later, but for you guys, I'll show it.
I'm
Sure,
sure.
okay.
Oh, he's with Callum. Or with Happy, rather.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's
Pretty
probably
sure Happy.
It's probably like
okay,
a
this
present.
may need to be censored, Editor San. We'll get back to you.
I guarantee
Probably not. Probably
you.
not.
You know what? Hold on. Guys, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to ask him right now.
Oh no. No.
He said no. He said no, we can't.
We can't?
Well, there you go.
Yeah, okay, there we go. So
Censor
editor,
all of
please
it.
censor names.
Thank you, E.
Munchy got slammed down.
What's up, Eleazar here. So after the podcast, Mage actually got the okay to show the image. You can see in the show notes or in the video right now. Thank you.
But yeah, okay. So other than that, what has been happening in my life? Okay, so that's the end of the good things in my life. Start with the bad things.
Now for the long list of terrible bad things.
Yeah, I would appreciate if you guys wouldn't make jokes when I'm talking about my grandma. I'm still sensitive about that. Also, hello, cat. He is on my lap now. Hello.
Why? What happened to your grandma?
At the beginning of the year, well, not the beginning of the year, at the end of April, May, I'm not sure, when I went back to Lithuania around that time, as I do yearly, to visit my grandma, things went really bad, and I'm not sure in how much detail I want to describe it. She's still around, so spoilers, I guess, but...
Great.
Yeah,
You don't describe it at all, if you don't want it.
Like, I kind of want to, because, like, I disappeared for that period of time, and I never explained to anyone why or where I was and stuff. And I feel a little bit guilty for doing that, but at the same time, I didn't want people to worry about me, because that would just make me feel extra bad, and I was already in a really bad state then for a very long time. I swear, up until, like, September, I don't know where I was. Just don't remember much. But yeah, we had to put her in a hospital sort of ward, nursing home / thing. It was a hospital and a nursing home, so I'm not sure how that works, but there we go. She got so bad she could barely speak. She couldn't get out of bed. She started forgetting, like she couldn't recognize who I was, and started telling stories and asking for weird things, and it was very distressing. And I was kind of alone because all my immediate family was back in England.
This is when you were taking care of her, right?
Yeah. And
Right.
so we had to ask help for not immediate family, from like an aunt. She's really nice actually, but I've only met her before like maybe 3 times in my whole life. So it was kind of very weird, getting help from strangers and stuff. But yeah, it would. I was really distressed because I thought I was gonna lose her, right then and there, because she was just all of a sudden, like one day she was fine, and then all of a sudden she it all just went so sour. Eventually eventually she bounced back. She started recognizing things again, and her memory was descrambled, and she just she got better mentally, but she's not able to walk anymore. And then I had a really big scare about, like at some points, something really bad happened. It's because like the people at the nursing home changed around her medicine, and her legs started to really, really hurt. So they called an ambulance, took her to a different hospital, because that one was a very small one in a small town that I didn't even live in. So they took her to the bigger hospital in the town that I do live in. And the doctor there, he kind of told me just like, we kind of need to cut off her legs, and you kind of have to sign for it. And I was in shock. I didn't know what to do. It was just like, that's a big decision to make, So I had to call my mom. Thankfully, I could go. I got through to her. We talked it out, and she was also in shock. I let her talk to the doctor through the phone, because it's just like I wasn't able to process things anymore. And then she kind of got it out of him that we don't have to cut off her legs to save her life. Like, it is an option, and it's like they decided that it's best not to do that. And mentally, when I think about it,
mention it?
I know. It just.
What if you had just said yes? What if you had just said yes?
I know, they shaved like 5 years off of my lifetime,
dude.
With that.
That's when you fucking like, I'm fucking suing you people for being retarded and just go fucking ham on them. Jesus
It's
Christ.
because like there's no saving her legs. She's not gonna be able to use them, and apparently like a good option to them was like to just cut off them legs because they're gonna like start rotting or something. Maybe I'm not sure. So like they are a hazard to her health, but at the same time she's old, she's weak. Cutting off her legs not only would do like mental damage to her, the fact that she might not even survive the like operation is a very big question. So like it's really, there's really no good options in this situation. So
Sure.
There was a chance though to just sort of like keep the legs alive through like medication and stuff. It's like the chances of her regaining her like, you know, to be able to, you know, use the legs are slim to none. But at least, you know, you keep them there so they don't rot. So we went with that, thankfully. And so she got taken back to the other hospital. And it was just very difficult throughout this whole time because, like, her her awareness was sort of in and out. And, on the worser days, she would just cry about a lot of things, and she was very miserable and wanted to go home. She doesn't know what day it is, or where's my mom. On the better days, she just wants to die. I know that sounds kind of like a joke, but yeah.
This is the unironic kind.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's just, it was very miserable, and it's just like the worst part of about this, I guess, for me, is just I can't look at her face and tell her with sincere honesty that it's gonna be okay. Because it's not gonna be okay. Things are just gonna get worse for her. And that's yeah, so that's been me for like the better part of the year. She's still around. She's better mentally. Though whenever I do talk to her, she's kind of flip-flops between, hey, I miss you, I would like to see you again, to I'm miserable and I want to die. So the conversations are kind of not necessarily fun. But yeah.
Yeah, jeez.
I'm sorry, man. I know what it's
Jesus.
like. My grandma has dementia, and it's a strange feeling. You know, you grow up with someone, you know them their entire lives, and then, or your entire life, and then you get to a point where they just start, you know, babbling, for lack of a better word. You know, they forget who you are, they forget who they are, really. It's a really weird experience that not a lot of people have to deal with.
Yeah.
I get you.
I mean, it's funny you mention that because my grandmother has dementia too. It's started getting really bad this year, so I'm like taking her to like a daycare center a couple times a week. But yeah, she like, I mean, I have two younger sisters. One's 2 years younger. The other is, you know, she's only 18, and so she's like, you know, much younger, and she doesn't even remember her anymore because like her memory's so bad now. Like doesn't remember newer things like that. So she knows who me and my older sister are, but just thinks she's a stranger, and it's just getting worse. And it's just like, fuck, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's things like that are like super scary, and just like there's really, how do you deal with these sort of things?
Especially when you just went over to do the thing you do all the time, and it's suddenly completely different.
Yeah, it's just like, and I was alone. I'm not capable of dealing with this emotionally, and just like, you know, who do I call? Where do I go? What do I sign? I'm not like, I'm technically a Lithuanian citizen, but I'm not like registered there. I don't have like an address or anything. I don't really have much power there. Like if I want to go to a doctor, I have to pay for it. Even though in Lithuania you kind of pay taxes, so they come out of your taxes, so you don't pay when you go there. But like if I want to go to like a doctor, I have to pay a lot for the doctor personally. So it's just like I don't know how things work in Lithuania too much. I usually there just to sort of take care of her, to like, you know, do grocery shopping, do laundry, you know, cook and clean and stuff like that. That was my usual thing. But with this, it's just I didn't know what to do. I was lost, and there was no one there from my family to just sort of help out, from my immediate family. Thank goodness we had that aunt, because she's a nurse, and she lives nearby the hospital in the smaller town. So she was a really big help. But I still visited grandma almost every single day I could. It's like had to drive an hour forward and an hour back, and it was like torture in those stupid cars and that stupid heat. But you know, I kind of wanted to, and I had to. I mean, I guess I didn't have to. Like sometimes my aunt would say, you know, you don't have to come today, but I'm like, I want to. I don't know, you know, because my grandma always looks forward to seeing me. I just said I don't want to disappoint her, and I want to see how she's doing and stuff like that.
Well, I haven't. I had all my grandparents were dead when I was born, except my grandpa, who I did know, I did like, and he died. But I don't have a lot of experience with any of this kind of stuff. And perhaps it's not the best time to say it, but I'll perhaps just say that the end of life is just another part of life. And I like to think that even if these things happen and people die, we can carry on their legacy ourselves. And, you know, no one's ever really dead if we remember them. And obviously she's not yet. I'm not hoping that she does or anything. But I think that in the West, we have a very unhealthy relationship kind of with death in general. And I don't know. I personally, again, you know, I'm probably the wrong person to talk about because I haven't experienced it much. But I like to think that perhaps this time of someone's life could be a reflection of all the great things that have happened in their life, and not, you know, that like our last and like our lasting memory of them is them like in their final form of, you know, when they're kind of waning in life, but you know, hopefully the best of them. So again, you know,
it's really weird. I'm glad to hear that your grandma has sort of recovered a little bit at least. Tom, I want to know, because I was always thinking about this, and it's kind of a weird, macabre thought. But my grandma has been gone for so long that it almost is like she's dead already, you know?
Sure, yeah.
It's sort of weird. It's a weird sort of like, you aren't someone who I know, and so it's, I don't know, it's just strange to think that it's already happened mentally. I think about that a lot. It's really spooky, honestly.
Dude, it's so bizarre because like, I feel kind of bad sometimes because it's just like, like when she finally does pass, and she's like, you know, almost 90, so it's bound to happen sooner or later. And it's just like, I don't know if I'll even feel that bad just because it's been so long and I feel like divorce. Like, I'm sure it'll hit me emotionally at the time, but like thinking about it from this perspective, it's just like I just can't help project myself in that situation, you know? Like because like it's in my genes somewhere, dementia, like it could happen, you know?
Yeah,
same. And like, like, would I want to put my family through what we were dealing with right now, just like emotionally, but also like just financially and just logistically? Because like my mom's had to jump through so many fucking hoops to get power of attorney, to take care of everything, and nobody gives a fuck. And it's just like, and it's just like, because the weird thing is that like right now, like where she's at, she has no short-term memory, but like she can hold a conversation for a little. Like it's gotten like way worse now, but like a couple months ago, like you couldn't tell unless you spent like an hour with her, because like she could function, she knew what day it was, she knew what her name was, all like the typical tests that they do. But like eventually she would just like forget everything that was said. But now it's like down to just like a few, like a minute, you know, like she'll ask you the same question every 2 or 3 minutes, and it's just like
same,
like what the fuck, dude. And it's just like, how are we not like fixing this? Like, this is just a nightmare.
Man, fucking, how do we get on this topic?
Dude, this is
life,
the real
man.
shit.
I mean,
life.
Mage has been dealing with it. It's
Yep.
Does it feel better to get it off your chest? Have you been like holding it in?
I hope so.
I suppose a little bit. I've only said it to like a couple of people, and I stayed away from talking about it on the main PCP as well.
Sure.
I don't usually like talking about my problems or what's bothering me and stuff publicly. It's I don't like it when people worry about me, especially like if something is happening to me like right now and I can deal with it, or at least I think I can, or like I don't know, like I'm fine talking about things after they passed, I suppose. Like, I mean, this hasn't really passed, but like, you know, the huge scare is over. Because in a way, like, how people start getting worried and shocked, and like, it sort of creates like sort of like almost a feedback loop and makes my worries worse. And then I also the added worry of like, I'm making other people worry. I know and they can't help me. And no matter what they say, I'm not very receptive to sort of words of comfort, like through text and stuff. I would like to be, but I'm just not. It's like I appreciate the sentiment, but it's not helpful. So like, why am I making you guys worry for no reason? It just feels selfish. So I just sort of don't talk about things up until like up until it's passed and, you know, everything's fine again, or I can joke about it, how like I talked about, you know, the food poisoning thing that I had, and I could actually joke about it at that point because, you know, it's passed, I'm good, I'm fine, everything's fine. That was spooky, but it's done and over with, and nothing bad happened. But like when it was happening, I like I said, I tweeted on Twitter that it's like, oh, hey guys, I'll be away for a few days. I didn't even say why, and no one needed to know. It's a bit better to sort of talk about it from time to time.
Yeah, I think there is like a time and place to keep things to yourself. Like I've been thinking about this sometimes in that same way. Like if you're depressed, but you know it'll pass, there's no reason to talk about it publicly or with anyone necessarily, because if you talk about being depressed, then you know that in some small way they're like feeling a little bit of depression from you, and that might like it's just sort of like a burden on the world that doesn't need to be there. So like it's not always good to hold it in, but it is sometimes good. So
I mean, people like on social media to encourage people to talk about it and not keep it to yourself because it might, you know, damage you. But at the same time, you don't have to cry about everything publicly, I suppose. Because like at the same time, as much as people want to help you, a lot of people also might want to hurt you. And during the time you're emotionally vulnerable, that's, you know, the perfect time to sort of strike if you really want to do a critical hit, so to speak. So it's not always the best. I do still encourage people to talk about like people who are close to, maybe not publicly, like not on Twitter and stuff. No. But like, you know, in real life, if you have people close by, or Discord, if someone close to you, someone you trust, just sort of talk things through. It sometimes does help to sort of get out of that headspace or whatever loop you're in. I think that the reason why it's like my grandma thing hit me really, really hard is because my grandma is kind of like my second mother to me. When I was little, my mom would have to go away for like weeks on a job. She would travel to a different country and stuff. My dad wasn't really the best parent, so I would have to be left with my grandma. And so she's technically kind of raised me. And we also lived with my grandma after my mom came back and didn't travel, so we moved in with grandma. So she was always there in my life. She's not like a grandma you visit once a month or like a few times a year. She was always there with me. I grew up with her. I'm really close with her. And, you know, for the past however long I've been living in the UK, every single year, every single summer, I go back to visit her and, you know, spend time with her. So it's she's really close to me, so it's really a big shock to just sort of have that happen.
Yeah. That's fucking tough, dude.
Yeah, just like instead of thinking about this happening to your grandma, imagining this happened to like your mother or something like that. For a lot of people, it's a bigger impact than just their grandma, because it really depends how close you are to your grandparents.
Sure.
But yeah, sorry to be such a downer, but I guess I guess it's
I have perhaps something even sadder, Mage. Okay, that was a joke. This is, as you will see momentarily. It's that, so with the turn of the decade upon us, it seems that a couple things have happened in the scanlation world. It seems that Jaimene's box.
Fucking Christ.
It was a joke. I'm trying to lighten the mood, goddammit. Give me a break. Jaimene's box is shut down. I think they got vizzed. I think they got fucking copyright struck, and they are destroyed. And as a result, I think... So this matters to me and
I'm really sad. Tanga is shutting down. I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to get my new adult concept toys anymore. I think we're going to have to
that is unfortunate.
Wait, I didn't even hear. What are we talking about
and Manga
right now?
Stream...
Who got shut down?
Jiminy's Box is a scanlation website
We
that
look at
hosts
it
like
for
One Piece and all
One
kinds
Piece
of...
because it has more accurate than the other alternatives.
Okay.
While we were recording this podcast, I got notices from the Podcast Discord that they have completely shut down. And I believe in result of this, Manga Stream has taken off all of their Shonen Jump properties from their website. So this is so what this means right now is that the only place I know where to get One Piece streams is from the official release, which happens several days after the scanlations from these companies, which is unfortunate.
How
So see, this
long
is
do you
not
think
nothing.
it'll take
This is not
for
nothing.
a new secret evil website to illicitly do the thing that we all want it to do?
Well, great question. Thank God the Spics have us covered. The Spanish-speaking heroes of the world are in the server right now. There's like some people saying like, Nate, it's okay. We, the Spanish-speaking members of the Pod Discord, are going to translate the Spanish scans that are still happening, and we will all still hopefully get our chapters before
That's
too
awesome.
long.
That is pretty
Based
cool.
Pretty fucking
Mexicans. I hope they stick to it. I mean, I'm going to work with those guys if it comes down to it, but hopefully we come together. The thing is, this might not last. We never know how long these like strikes last. I mean, fucking, what is it? X Hentai got shut down for a while. Everybody cried about it. After like a month or so, it was back and like nothing had changed. So I mean, maybe they took down some stuff. So hopefully this won't be permanent. But this is an interesting development in the world of online manga readership. I mean, we've been there before. What's that one, Gib, that we all used to read on? Manga. One manga.
It was like a black and red looking website.
The death of one manga was such a blow to me. I read everything there. It was like my childhood dying when it got shut down. And then I moved on to Manga Stream and then Jiminy's, and we shall see what lasts throughout the
Nate,
ages.
I'm
This is
so
the
sorry
ongoing
that your
cycle.
fucking pacifier, like cornflakes, bib, diaper lover, bullshit has been shut down. I'm really mourning.
All right, here's a joke. It's a joke.
all right, guys, this is
It's
a
a
joke.
joke,
Please don't
guys.
get mad at me. Please don't
Please
dox
don't get
me,
mad.
please.
At least Mage's grandma is still alive. Jiminy's is dead right now. Okay, I'm sorry. I was just a joke. I'm sorry. I obviously did not mean that. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. I have nothing but sympathy, obviously. Okay, anyway.
Mage, do you have anything else go? Like, what are you gonna do next year? Do you have any plans? That's the whole
Good
point.
question.
Like I said, I am working on that secret project for the next year. That's my main plan. Not sure about my YouTube thing. I kind of like, just sort of like, I got so angry with YouTube with all the stupid shenanigan shit that was going on. I didn't want to really create anything. Though I'm starting to get that itch.
Sorry, is it your frustration with the website or the culture of the website?
The website.
Okay.
A little bit of the
Understood.
culture as well, but the website mostly. So I'm not sure. I'm starting to get that itch to do stuff on YouTube. Like at some point wanted to do like a let's play just to sort of get myself back in the groove. I was really having a blast playing my time at Portia, so I wanted to do a let's play of that. But that kind of fell through. Other stuff happened, and I got busy. But I might do that. Maybe do some animations again. Kind of miss doing those. I'll see how it goes. I'll play by the ear. I'll improvise. But most importantly, I want to focus on that secret project to get it out of the gates, to actually have accomplished something next year.
To actually have something,
That would be nice.
contributing to society.
Impossible.
Same.
Just if only to make myself feel better.
I want to be the very best, and I want to make the comics real and be like, hey guys, I've made a whole other thing. I can't wait to be.
You
cool.
really gotta.
I'm excited for next year.
Me too. Okay, so I went because the PCP does episodes like this sometimes, and I try to go back and listen to the one that we did for this year, but I don't even think it exists.
I don't think we
because
did
I went
that.
back and I looked at all the episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, we might have
There's
skipped
ones
one.
for plans for 2018 and 2017, which fucking 2017, I can't even believe that year exists at
Indeed.
all, or it even happened at all. I went back to the 2018 one, and it was fucking like mind-boggling. Hippo, first thing you said off the bat was like, all right, guys, I'm gonna post a video every week this entire year.
I think was that like the year that I did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it was.
Lol.
Ness.
It was and Nate, you were okay.
Yeah.
At the beginning of that episode, there was a "Where's the Ghost in the Shell" joke.
Yeah,
December 2017.
I meant to say that this episode that I realized that again at the end of last year, I apologize for not getting it done, and now another year has passed, and it's time for my obligatory. Guys, I'm sorry I didn't get Ghost in the Shell this year either, but next year for sure, guys, for sure.
Smash
2020. Smash cut to
Nate's
2021.
To 2029.
Yeah.
YouTube.
We're gonna literally be in Ghost in the Shell before Ghost in the Shell.
What's gonna happen first? Ghost in the Shell comes out, or YouTube is finally supplanted by another website. Place your bets now.
Good question. BitChute
Does
boys
Ghost in the Shell
assemble.
come out, or does Nate die first? We'll find out.
Old age. It's coming.
Well, guys, it's finally come to the part of the episode that everyone's looking forward to. The Munchy section.
Finally. Oh no, This is what we've been waiting for, everybody. Have you missed Munchy? Are you glad he's back? Well, neither are we.
Get another cup. Hold on.
How can this man have this much fluid? He must have
He's
not
just
pissed,
pouring
like
from-
intentionally so. There's no way there's that much fluid inside this man.
You see, it's funny because it's actually legitimate. I have
You
4
say so.
solo cups right now. You see, this is the kind of freedom that you get. You know, when your roommate's in your fucking room and you are living with someone else, and you can't even retreat to the sanctity of your own, of the twilight thoughts in your own mind without having someone, jerking off in their bed next to you, and you just want to fucking kill yourself. When you finally have the freedom yourself to be in your own room, and, they leave and fucking go hang out with their family or some shit, you have the freedom to be in your own room, naked, completely ass naked, recording your fucking RedTube videos for the first time in months. It's so liberating. You might as well whip out your dick and piss,
Of course.
So how?
All right, so here's what's going on right now, guys.
School?
Here, we're getting down to brass tacks right now. You New Year's resolutions, terrible. I think we can all agree that New Year, I'm gonna go to the gym every single day. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna lose 20 pounds. That's the sort of thing that has a fail state. That's the sort of thing where it's like, okay, I didn't go to the gym today. That was my New Year's resolution, and I failed it. So I guess I'm gonna not do that anymore. You can get demotivated to do it because it's too, it's simultaneously too narrow and unforgiving. It's a sort of weird state that it's almost bound to fail if you have something as so simple and inflexible as a New Year's resolution as it's traditionally thought of. And that's why I'm so in love with an idea that was given to me by a podcast that I love to listen to and that everyone else should, called Cortex, hosted by CGP Grey and some other chick folk. I think I talked about it before. But what's interesting about that is they have a concept called a yearly theme. It's basically like an overarching prompt that you have for the entire year. You can name a year the year of so-and-so, and you dedicate the year to achieving that sort of nebulously defined prompt that can affect many different decisions and the actions you take in your life. And so last year, 2019, I'm choking on my fucking spit right now because I'm fucking spitting over the place. My room is just completely filled with saliva and piss and cum and shit right now.
That'll
That's
happen.
okay. I'm taking off my socks right now to get into the meat of this shit, and it smells terrible. My year last year was the year of more. Again, read Returning to Burning, the post on my Tumblr, where I discuss how I was in a giant malaise and I was feeling terrible and getting absolutely nothing done. And so last year I decided I wanted to try and become a real person and not check on the same, 20 Discord servers and subscribe to the same 30 YouTube channels and go on Twitter every day and waste away doing the exact same thing over and over again. I wanted to try and do something new. And it was pretty successful, pretty cool, but a little bit bad, actually. So, I went on many travels, I went with Hippo, I went on a road trip, and I did all these things. And, I did try and pick up new skills. I learned how to code, and I did a big animation for the first time again with Hippo. And all that's cool and all, but the main thing is that my actual life, my routine stayed the same. And because I was at my house, I was just staying inside all the time. I was in online school. I didn't actually have a good system in place for me to actually do meaningful new things, aka new things that would actually affect the routine of my life. It was more so just sporadic splurges of, I'm doing this insanely new thing. I'm going abroad by myself for the first time. Haha, but that only affected 1 week out of my entire year. There are big things, but pretty infrequent things to the point where it doesn't feel like it was a year of more. It felt like random orgasms of more. And so there's been a lot of thoughts coalescing in my brain. I've been, my brain has been a powerhouse of cognitive thought recently on a very few select topics. And so I'm here to announce my new year theme, which will hopefully be more of an actual routine game changer.
Before you explain, when you say last year was the year, or like this year was the year of more, did that pan out the way you expected it to when you came up with that?
It did. Okay, it was a success, but a disappointing success. Because again, like when I thought of the year more, I thought, here are the big things I want to do, is I wanted to branch out of my social circle, which was a big failure. Like, I basically didn't do that at all. But I also wanted to try and learn more skills, and because I knew that I was going to be going to college. Going to college, that's pretty fucking year more. But I was going to go to college, and I would have much less time to kind of fuck around and do absolutely literally nothing. And so I wanted to use the time that I had left to actually learn new skills and, get the most out of my free time as I could. And so that actually worked out pretty well. I learned how to code, which is now like a pretty common thing that I do. Like, I am a programmer now. It's pretty cool and sick, and I'm a dev for Endless War like full time, and I do it a lot. And that's pretty cool. And I have been animating a lot, and, I did that work for you, as you know. So that worked out pretty well, and I did have a lot of new experiences, which were nice. But again, it just is the fact that they were not a part of my daily routine, It wasn't like I was doing anything new actively. I guess besides coding, which I did do frequently. But, it wasn't like a real game changer in a meaningful way. So it was a success. I accomplished what I wanted to, but not as much as I wanted to. It was a disappointing success in that way. So this is 2020, the year of conquest. And so the way I visualize this, imagine I'm in the Congo right now. I'm with my PILF helmet. There are so many brambles, distractions, and undecided gray areas in my life that I need to cut through, like a jungle man cutting through the vines of a jungle. There are so many things that are unintentional that I do, so many things that are just obstructing what I actually want to accomplish in my life. So I've reached a point where, the year of more, branch out my social circle, do things I haven't done before. I don't have to try to do that. I'm in college now. Every single day is that I'm completely out of my comfort zone and doing, year or more shit every single day. Going to college was the routine game changer in that way. I'm doing a lot of new things now. So I branched away from that to now I have to, get a handle of all the things. I have to, consolidate all my gains. And I have to actually make my life one where I'm able to exploit all of the new gains that I've made. I have all of the pieces of the puzzle. I have the new interests that I want to do. I have coding and animating, and I want to do comic stuff, and I want to do more like kind of experimental web stuff. I have all those interests, and I have all those skills now. And I have all the like, I'm being forced into new social scenarios and all that sort of stuff. Now I have to actually figure out how I can make my life run like a well-oiled machine and actually be able to use all these skills effectively. And so that's the year of conquest, and the whole point of it is not going to be, again, resolutions are doomed to fail. It's not going to be like, I'm going to do this cold turkey schedule all this entire year. Here's the specifics of what I'm doing, and then 2 months later, obviously it will change because life is always changing. There's just going to be one guiding principle of the year of conquest, and it's going to be reducing distractions via intentionality. So a big part of this is journaling. I think everyone knows that I've been on a dailyo kick, and I sort of fallen off of it for a while there, but now I'm dedicated again. I have been doing so, journaling every day, and specifically outlining the next day, and just having a sort of review process where I look back on my days, and I just am charting my progress constantly. I have a vision in my head. Who do I want to be? And I'm taking steps to achieve that reasonably and reviewing my life
been doing
like that. So
like
yeah, it's great. What is your journal? I'm always interested in what other people's like what their specs are. Like, what is your build? How are you doing journaling or improving your life like that?
Whenever there's like a big cool day that I really want to remember everything that's happening, like RFCKCon, I will write down in extensive detail everything that happened so I can remember it. But for your average work day, I just basically say, like whether I got the things I wanted to get done, and if I can see a problem, I just explain the problem and see. I'll try doing this tomorrow and see if that works better. And it's just sort of like an ongoing process. I don't really look back at all those ones, but it's just good to have.
Looking back, it's crucial.
Well, the small ones like that, like I look back at the larger ones,
The big ones, yeah. Okay.
but the small, like every day, like I didn't get everything done today. I got distracted for this reason. I think I should try and do this. Like there was a time.
Yes, that's great. That's so good.
There was this time where this app on my phone blocks certain apps as well. Cold turkey on mobile is useless.
Yeah, it sucks. I don't know why it's a difference.
Yeah, it's stupid. But this other thing called app block or app lock, you can set like time periods, locations, and like it's a flat like amount of time on the phone for specific apps. So I have that for like all sorts of different parameters. Like when I'm at work, in the location of work, I can't use my phone for YouTube or Twitter or whatever. And there's a 2-hour limit. But I was sort of going over that because you can easily turn these things off unless you activate strict mode, which forces you to not be able to do anything. And strict mode, there's like a way to. You can either have it on a timer, which you can't have it forever because then you'll never be able to change settings. So it's like limited to a couple days, which I didn't want to bother with because I wouldn't remember to like keep putting it back on strict mode. Or there's a way to only allow you to uncheck strict mode when your phone is plugged in, which eliminates entirely me using my phone in bed because it's too far away from an outlet. So now I can't turn off the restrictions and just watch YouTube like I did 1 or 2 times. And so those sort of things in my daily, I explained that I did that, and then I made the change, and then I explained that it worked, and that's how I've been using it, basically.
I'm so glad that you brought that up, that like the idea of using software, because I always think about things, about how I'm going to be able to achieve, a distractionless life. And by the way, like one of the things that I mean by distractions are stuff that I'm doing, just sort of absent-mindedly. Because like the human mind is extremely weak and so, easily subject to manipulation, as we were discussing earlier with YouTube, where your brain will always take the easiest decision. And so, you're always going to click on that new YouTube video and you're always going to scroll through Twitter and Discord and stuff like that. And so distractions like that, where it's like, I'm not even enjoying myself, There's a difference between I'm going to watch an anime now. Here I am watching an episode of an anime. Wow, that was a good anime. As opposed to just sort of being like, what am I gonna do right now? I don't know. Let me throw on a YouTube video real quick.
Let me
like,
just check to see if there's any
mindset.
updates on various things, and then there is, and then you get stuck.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not about like I'm going to be a pure work machine right now. It's about me living a life that I'm actually intending to live and not being manipulated by the companies who want to eat my
Munchy,
soul.
this reminds me of a wonderful image I saw the other day of a Feel guy on his deathbed dying, just saying, "I wish I'd consumed more media." This is you.
Literally, it actually is, because I look back on my life and think about how much time I spent watching YouTube as opposed to watching, actually good art, consuming, actual TV shows or movies or books or anything like that. And I just think about how, like, it's not, like, I'm not even relaxing correctly. I'm not even doing nothing right. But yeah, so I think about all the ways that I can reduce distractions like that. And there are 3 methods. I'm using carrots, I'm using sticks, that everyone knows, and I want to use rails. Because, that one test, it's like I don't even know what it was, I think it was trying to, like, calculate what kind of, like, virtues instilled in children make them the most productive member of society later in life. And scientists would lock a kid in a room, put a marshmallow down in front of them and say, "Hey, if you wait for me to get back and don't eat this marshmallow, then I'll give you 2 marshmallows." And then there was a study over a course of time where it's like, people who ate the marshmallow turned out to be fucking hack frauds later in life. People who didn't.
Right.
Blah, 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 blah. Stuff like that. It's good for experiments. if you really don't want the kid to eat a marshmallow, you don't give him a marshmallow. So instead of having it be a scenario, where I'm punishing myself for doing things that are bad, I want to get as many systems in my life where I'm not able to make the decision, that to do bad things. I'm not
Why
able
trust our
to do things that
flawed,
are
weak
bad.
human instincts when you can just make sure that it goes the way you want it to from the start?
Exactly.
Yeah,
And you have to have, you have to build self-control. There has to be some sort of punishment and some sort of rewards in there for me to do, bad or good decisions, respectively. But there are many ways in this modern digital world that we have where it's easy to completely lock certain behaviors out of you. For instance, Hippo, like you said, I have an app on my phone that locks out certain things, specifically after I use them for a long amount of time. So I have like my web browser. I don't have YouTube installed on there, and so I have my web browser, so I can't even go on YouTube on the shit mobile website version. I have it locked to an hour of usage, and I need my web browser to fucking function. So if I've only used it under dire circumstances where I need to Google something or I need to check a map, and so that makes sure that I never go on YouTube on my phone, and it's working out great. And so just stuff like that where it's like it's a combination of let's say one of the big things for me is I want to wake up at 7 a.m. or at least I wanted to because that's how my school schedule worked out. I want to do that for whatever, but I want to wake up early, basically. And so if I ever woke up on time, I would reward myself. Now, if I didn't wake up on time, I would punish myself. Usually, and this is the most clever punishment I thought of, if I woke up late, I would not allow myself to take my headphones out for the day. And that's a big hit for a Zoomer like me. That's fucking unbearable. Yeah. And so it made me think, oh god, I have to get out of bed right fucking now. I'm not going to be able to listen to fucking music or an audiobook when I'm at school. And there's always, that was working good for a while.
What was
eventually
the good thing that if you did wake up on time?
I would allow myself to jerk off.
Yes. Yeah, is that true?
Yeah, that is true.
Okay, good. Sick.
Yeah. Oh, and obviously the flip side is also I would allow myself to listen to music as well.
Right, of course.
And so that was working good for a while, but eventually I kind of like lapsed, and I was just sort of like, well, I only woke up like an hour later, and like that's not even really a problem. Yeah. And so now I have an alarm where I have to solve, not joking, 24 hard math equations before the alarm will turn off.
That's pretty good.
Oh, bro, is that fucking I Can't Wake Up the app? Because I have that, and I use something very similarly.
It's not. It's called Alarmy. It's for Android, but I'm sure it's the same thing.
I'm sure they're very similar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's awesome. There's a functionality on Alarmy which I have not set up, which sounds awesome. It's where you have to take a photo of something, like a very specific object, before the alarm will turn off. And I'm just imagining where it's like I have to take a picture of my Head and Shoulders bottle, so I have to be in the shower for the alarm to turn off. And it's like, oh, I'm already here. I might as well shower, and wake up for the day. That'd be cool. But yeah, that's the sort of that's an outline of the sort of thing where it's like I want to have a series of incentives and disincentives and insurances and stuff like that.
Indeed.
To make my life the kind of life I want to be.
I'm listening to this and I'm just thinking, you know what? Maybe when the AI take over, we'll be okay. Because what is this but machines regulating our primitive human behaviors and making us
It
better?
actually is. Yeah, for real. No, it's fine. Yeah.
In a way, yeah. Seems not like the worst solution. I mean, I'm trying to impose systems in place so that I have more accountability. And if we have some sort of benevolent... what's the difference, I ask, between, let's just say we had some sort of benevolent human emperor versus a benevolent AI that is trying to regulate you? I guess the fear is that something goes wrong. But if things don't go wrong, then we're in the money, baby. And it sounds just great to me.
Gotta roll those dice.
I'm ready to roll.
I'm a firm believer.
I'm ready to put Skynet in charge today.
Is just terrible.
Yeah.
It will work against you every single step of the way. And humans are a complete result of their environment. So if you know, your brain will make the easiest decision. So if you're in a bad environment, if you're in a bad superstructure, then you will always make bad decisions because it's the easiest to make. So let's say, I was in a terrible structure just a couple months ago before I started college. I was alone in my room the entire day. The only schoolwork I would do would be online. I had no reason to leave outside. And if I did want to go and, walk out in the city, well, that'd be a really long bus ride and it would cost money. And it would be just, I was heavily disincentivized and it was hard to be a good person. And so I wasn't a good person, and I was just wasting away online on social media all the fucking time. But now I'm in a scenario where it's easy to maneuver around the city, and I am forced to go outside, and I'm forced to interact with other people. And now it's just a matter of hunkering down and really just ironing out, okay, what's my relationship with my computer? You know, how am I going to get the most out of it in order to do things that I want to do? And honestly, guys, feeling pretty good. I've been doing it for a while. You know, this is my theme for the year, but it's not like I've waited for January 1st to start, like we were saying at the beginning of this. You know, I've actually started. Actually, we did say at the beginning of this. I'm thinking back when I was listening to the other episode. Haha, lol. But yeah, no, I've started this already, and it's been going fucking great. So I have 2 months of Dailyo under my belt, which is nothing compared to my half a year I had prior, and I just fucking fucked off and stopped. But I'm doing that, and it's been really it's such a noticeable difference living an intentional lifestyle as opposed to a non-intentional lifestyle, where you're planning every day, then you're reviewing the previous day's entry and okay, I did this yesterday, and these were my failures. This is what I did wrong yesterday. I'll know today not to do that. I was checking something on my email and I led down a rabbit hole on YouTube. Okay, I need to make sure that I don't go on YouTube today at all. And I've instituted now a cold turkey block on YouTube for basically ever, and it's awesome. It's actually great. I'm feeling really good. Okay, here's one thing about as the viewers probably know, I've been in college for my first semester for these past.
I want to hear about your school experience as well, but yeah, go on.
That's a topic for a whole nother time. I might talk about that on
maybe
a
just in
PCP.
very short summary, but yeah, we can talk about it later.
Well, okay, but this is related to it. If nothing else, going to school has been incredibly helpful for me to figure out how I want to spend my free time. Because now, as opposed to having every moment of the day being I could work or I could do nothing, and obviously, again, your brain will make the easy decision and do nothing. Now, I have genuine hours that are free time where either I can work or I can play, but I'm always wanting to work because those are the only hours I'm gonna be able to do it, dude.
Not to interrupt
I can't just goof off and do that because I gotta work, or else I'm not gonna be able to get it done ever.
I feel a lot of wanting to almost want to go back to a slave labor job, because I remember distinctly before I left Whole Foods and started doing Patreon and YouTube.
Yeah.
I fucking crushed 5 to midnight all the time doing work because that was the only time I had to do it, and I was honestly probably more productive with less time just because it was more valuable to me.
I feel this all or nothing mentality. I think these mad gambits we're trying are not always the most optimal or beneficial. There's nothing wrong with having a job. To anybody out there who thinks you got to be, I don't know, like any of us who are doing this, you don't have to. You could be. I think I probably was overall more productive when I had my full-time job. I'm working to fix that, but so far I think that is the case, as Tom is saying. So there's nothing wrong.
By the way, in case it wasn't clear, that is my intention. For multiple reasons. I don't want to compromise my artistic vision, and I think that it will have this exact effect on me, where I'll be more motivated in my free time to do things. I want to have a normal fucking slave wage job. For this exact reason. So yeah,
I can't wait, Munchy, after you get your degree and then you're that barista at Starbucks just giving me my extra frappa mocha latte.
Well, actually, I'm gonna be the folder man at Chipotle. That's my dream. That's my dream job.
Based. Please let it happen. Fold your fucking diploma into a burrito for me. I would really appreciate it.
Ooh, you know what?
That sounds beautiful.
I'll season it with my tears and my student loan mail checks.
Hell yeah. Oh, we laugh, but it's so true.
So before, I was just sort of doing whatever project was on the mind. But now I have had, since the beginning of this semester, a giant to-do list of things I want to do on break, and I've never been as motivated to do things as I am right now. And I am so fucking happy that today, the day that we're recording this on the 19th, was my last day that I had any work to do whatsoever, and I'm going back home so soon. And I just cannot fucking wait to open up my computer and get to all the shit that I want to do. I'm so excited and motivated, and I have the tools in my life to accomplish it. I am literally fucking coming right now just thinking about doing all the things I want to do. It's fucking
That
awesome.
is
It's
great,
so cool.
Munchy. Although, just to play devil's advocate for a moment on that, because I certainly know where you're coming from there, and I felt it myself as well. Is there anything worse than feeling that way, and then you get home and you're like, well, I could do this, or I could just kind of relax for a couple of hours, and maybe tomorrow I'll get to it, and then when you waste your time and you realize that you've been fucking around and not, I'm just saying, if one does that, as I certainly have in the past,
It is the worst
It
feeling
does
of all time.
feel bad. It does feel bad.
It
But
does feel
obviously-
bad. But
Yeah.
but see, here's the thing. I've been very careful with my language here. It's all about living an intentional lifestyle, not a
Right.
working lifestyle. So there is time where I'm intentionally saying to myself, okay, well, like I miss my friends. Of course, I'm going to want to hang out with them a lot. It's not about being a workaholic who does nothing but work, because that's not what I want to do. And you know, obviously creative projects are a big part of this, and I do want to create while I'm there. But part of it is also relaxing. So there is... I mean, of course, obviously, there's a chance that I'm just going to, relax all the time and do absolutely nothing. But I think, given what we were just talking about, the fact that it's lit a fire on my ass and I feel like I have a limited amount of time to work on it, and the fact that I am intentionally laying out hours where I can allow my brain to completely just goof off and do whatever I want with my friends, I'm pretty I mean, well, we'll see. Well, actually, I don't think the viewers will see, because there's nothing really on here. Besides, if you play RFCK, then you'll be able to see. But I'm confident. I'm confident.
Kind of
Well,
reminds
okay,
me
I'll say
of Scott Adams. He talks about using systems instead of goals. He talks about this in some of his books, where it's just like, instead of focusing on like a single long-term goal that's like a binary fail or succeed, a system
That's exactly what I'm talking
is
about.
like, creating habits. And he talks about like sometimes, like he uses systems to go to the gym, and sometimes he'll just get to the gym and he'll just be like, you know what, I don't feel like it. And he'll just turn around and immediately go back home. He's like, no, the system works because I got to the gym, and it's better than not going at all. And on the long term, I will be going to the gym more than if I was just trying to like convince myself to go to the gym and sputter out after a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, and
That's good.
perhaps
No, that's really good.
as a creative example, there's simply like the example of, again, this might just be the way he is, but like Stephen King, he simply writes every day, and the tons and tons of books are simply a product of that lifestyle, not like his, I have to get a book done by like this month or whatever. Like, I'm sure there's more to it than that, but that appears to be like a lifestyle choice that
Yeah.
results in good work people like.
That's sort of what I was trying to do with those few months I was doing the daily draw stream. Like, just to get into the habit of, like, a stream is a good way to force eyes on you, so it's harder to fuck around.
Right.
And I just needed to get into practice of drawing a lot. And, I mean, since stopping, I haven't drawn as much, but I have been drawing, so it did do
That's good.
It did do something.
So, I mean, we'll see how things go. Again, like this, the Year of Conquest is just a guiding principle, and I do have like smaller, like tangible goals that I want to accomplish. But like, all these systems I'm talking about, I may not like, use the same alarm or the same sort of like tangible things like that, but we'll see how the year pans out. At the very least, I just want to live a life that I am happy and, intentionally living. What a buzzword. Haha, lol. And we'll see how it pans out.
It sounds good. I certainly agree with this idea of intentionality. It sounds like a good way to live. Which kind of reminds me, just revisiting my hopes for the year to come. My hope, as I said before, was to kind of give the people really what they really want, because that's kind of what I'm missing. I'm applying systems that aren't fully fulfilling the needs of what the people I'm trying to please are, and to get to donate and blah, 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 all that stuff. So I'm thinking of doing a couple things, like I want to start adding patron names to the end of videos to give people more of an investment. That seems like something just to doesn't change much of the work at all, but it will give people more of a reason to be invested, to give people the big videos they want. And then also the Nuzlocke, the Hard Gold Nuzlocke, which I just started like over the last week or two or whatever. And like that's something that everybody wants. Everyone, or a vast majority of people are like, Nate, just do this. We all want it. It was the best thing. I know it would be better for my stream and whatnot. So I'm trying to not focus on crazy detail, or because I had this idea in my head that like I need a theme song for like the Nuzlocke. I need some like epic announcement. I need to make like an edited video or something. But then, I thought about that and I was like, that's all unnecessary. This is a bad habit I'm trying to work on within myself to do less of those things. So I just, I made like a little quick put some text on screen in my fucking OBS, switch the thing. It's like just as like announcement. Heart Gold does like, hooray, there it is, Heart Gold. You know, because I look back at the old Nuzlocke, I didn't have like the quote unquote theme song that I used the first episode. So like if one happens, like it'll happen as it goes along. There's no need to force it. And like there's new lore that's already happening. It's just I'm trying to allow myself to just be open, to stop being so meticulous about things, and to try to just kind of be less intellectual about it and more just based on like, I don't know, my common sense and gut feeling about what it just seems that people want. Because I think I can kind of fuck with myself by overanalyzing these things. So that's the part of it. And also kind of branching out from that, there's this other part of it where if I'm making less of like Weagwa specifically, my hope is that kind of frequent content thing, like Best Ever will be the things people are really hoping to see from me. And then like the PCP, the podcast, and then of course content being like the new place for the faster content, the stuff that's about, timely releases that me and Digi can whip up stuff about. And also, of course, part of that plan is that if that continues to grow, it's doing pretty well so far, though we're late on the last episode, so we'll have to fix that. On content. That's right. That's right, Munchy. So I'm seeing a division in the content community between the content boys and the content boys, much like the rowdies and the killers. There will be a massive seismic divide between them. Hopefully one day they'll come together.
The cons and the tents.
I mean, so like the other big change that could definitely happen this year, I almost definitely will move, unless things go like horribly wrong this year or something. And right now, the most likely thing I would do is move to Virginia Beach. One, because it just is a nice place that me and Michelle visited Digiat. We just like it. There's a beach there. I could go surfing during the summer. I could be outside. It's warmer in general, less snow, et cetera, et cetera. Lots of nice things. Being near Digi. I don't care where I live, so might as well be there. And then also, if we can evolve the content, then maybe with like a Kickstarter, like we up the production values. The biggest complaint right now is that it's like low production value. But if we change that and if we evolve it somehow, then like hopefully that could be just another interesting thing that I'm doing to balance out the kind of output I'm doing across all these channels. So I mean, doing that, all these things were on my mind for the upcoming year.
If you do that, then we'll finally fulfill the dream of having two PCP HQs, Poverty HQ and Sellout HQ, together at last.
That sounds good. That sounds fantastic.
By the way, I just
PCP
want to
North and
quick,
PCP
we can
South.
wrap up soon here. I just want to say, is everyone's goals just simply to create, or not create more, but just is the goals for everyone revolving around like creating art? Is that everyone?
Yeah,
I kind of had everything else figured out in my life,
personal
more or less.
goals.
Well, I suppose I want to lose more weight, so I'm down to a better weight.
I'm looking to gain muscle and lose weight myself, so I'm going to work on that.
Yeah, health is really important. Health definitely. I mean, I started the year focusing on health. It totally went bad, so gonna try and get on the horse with that again.
Maybe I'll get married next year. Who knows?
Whoa!
Oh, you think is that a possibility? Fascinating.
Anything can happen, I suppose.
Well, me and Biter were talking about it. We haven't set any dates, but we're like, we should.
I'm just curious, Mage.
Smash cut to breaking up in 2 months.
I don't know if I've asked you before, but do you have any interest in having kids in general, Mage?
Not really, no.
No? Okay, just curious.
So I mean, there's the whole family expectations.
There's a great replacement going on right now, Mage. We need you.
Yeah.
But no, my family.
Mage is a damn dirty immigrant to England right now, though, so that's no good. She's gonna have to go. We got to build the wall, Mage. That's all there is to it.
No, my family, expects it, but I'm like, I don't like kids.
Hey, no pressure here.
I know. I'm just saying, like, there is a pressure from my family, but
I don't want to make kids. I want to make OCs.
Yes.
It's better. It's an improvement.
I have a cat who needs kids.
No, but they want your OCs. They want your original children. They're waiting.
What's a better original character than a child?
Original child.
you
Do
know.
not steal. It's a crime.
No, please steal. Take it off my hands.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what the future brings, but right now, no plans for kids.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Yeah, about
Do you
like,
want kids? Yeah,
yeah.
you do. I think. I remember you saying.
about the whole like only art goals. I mean, it's really just because I don't feel like I have yet done there's no way I could possibly stop doing art at this point, or like focusing on most other things. It's just sort of like, I don't know. I haven't yet done it. I haven't yet done a good big thing. Bale Shape was a nice little thing. I feel it was like the first step, but I ain't there yet. I ain't a real person. I don't feel like. I don't know.
No, it's funny. It's funny you bring that up, Hippo, because I had this thought process even just a couple days ago. I think I finally like decided it's going to be a thing. You know the phrase "a death by 1,000 cuts." I'm gonna try. I'm going for a success by 1,000 cuts. I've decided that doing big, giant, huge projects sucks because I'm not good. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough, and I don't mean good enough as in like I can't do it. I definitely could, but I feel like there's a certain degree of like self-awareness that everyone needs to deploy when they're trying to do anything, and understanding like instead of fighting against the current, like finding a way to work with it. And like my attention span is just too fickle to like hunker down and do something for like a year, 2 years, 5 years. And I'm just like,
that's such a gambit to spend a whole year of your life on something too. So I'm with you. Be pragmatic
financially
about it.
It's crazy, but even just like my attention span is just like it's been destroyed by the internet. Like I can't even do that anymore. So I want to just like focus on like rapidly deploying like smaller things. And not worry about these big tentpole projects. And like, I do like working with other people. I work with you guys and doing collaborative projects and stuff. So if the opportunity presents itself to like delegate the work out and divide it all up and do a bigger project later down the line on the back of the smaller stuff, then that's great. But for now, it just seems
delegation is the key to growth. I'm convinced of this.
Yeah.
Tom, I'm glad you bring up the collab thing, because one of the biggest things that I want to improve in my life personally is at the top of my list for like the things that I want to accomplish with the Year of Conquest is I want to be the kind of guy that you can trust, because there's nothing I get.
You're not
out
that
of
right
life
now. Let me
more.
tell you, not even.
No,
a little
I
bit.
know. I'm a shifty little mongoloid bastard, a little knuckle dragger, mouth breathing freak right now, and I have to curb that, because there's nothing I enjoy more than when there's like something like a vaporette, or there's like a bale jip animation where I'm able to like help someone achieve their their vision. I'm able to be the sort of guy that's able to come in and be like, here, let me offload some of the work from your shoulders and onto mine. Let's work on this thing together. Let's help each other out. And I want to be the kind of guy that you're able to think about and think like, Munchy, I know when I give something to him, he'll get it done and he'll do quality work and he'll be a good guy. And that's like one of the main things I want to do. And I hope that I'm able to do more collabs in the future with you guys, because it's
frankly,
the
Munchy,
best thing in the world.
You are pretty reliable. I mean, I've had you make various logos and things for me, and I come to you, one of the reasons is because you are reliable. When it comes to those things, you are you deliver the quality product and are very helpful. So I certainly think that you certainly meet many of those qualifications right now. Perhaps you mean in like a larger scale or at bigger projects.
I mean like a more
frequent
scale maybe.
Sure.
Well, by the way,
start.
Nate, Weaga Moi, Wymagenialist Monthly, I can whip that up pretty fast.
You just have to rotate the W. Okay, it might take a little more work than that, but that sounds great. By the way, I was just going to say about the PCP as a whole. We haven't really spoken about any plans for the PCP.
We haven't reflected
I was going
to
say perhaps that could be like our final note.
Burn it down, fucking delete, just obliterate.
Burn it down. I think when I think about it, there's always, we've been talking for years about like, should we change the formula? Should we introduce new shows? And I was just saying the other day, I'm what can I say? I'm pretty happy with how it's going, with like the money I'm getting for the time invested in it right now. I think the fans, generally speaking, are pretty happy with how it's going overall. We may need to kill Ben Saint one of these days. The people are clamoring for it, and we are only the mere servants of our fans. But in general, I think things are going well. I'm happy with it. I don't think any major shakeups in the formula are coming anytime soon. Eleazar has been doing a great job as our editor for the last while, so he's just been getting it out on time, doing a fantastic job. He seems happy. I couldn't be happier than with him, so give him some thanks, everybody, for including editing this very video.
I think
great job, I'm sure.
I think with the podcast, we're kind of like in a weird space, just because it's like different rungs of priority for different people.
Absolutely.
Like I know me personally, I would like to grow the podcast or change it or like improve upon it somehow, just because like it's a significant amount of my paltry money. So any improvements to that make my life better. But for someone like Digi, who like barely even shows up because he doesn't need it, like he couldn't give two fucks what happens to it. If it ended tomorrow, probably wouldn't even notice for a couple weeks. So
I suppose
it really depends on, I guess, the person you're talking to.
I mean, I'm sure when it comes to you guys, I'm on pretty much every episode and whatnot, and I do the finance. So obviously, I'm pretty involved. But I'm also one of these people that like the PCP is not my main project. I mean, I've just got other things that I'm trying to do that are higher priority for me personally and whatnot. So like, but for you guys, for anybody who like wants to change things, I'm always open to like looking at proposals for any kind of changes. And I've always said that I think that if we want to change the PCB in a fundamental way, it should probably be in the format of like a new show with a new gimmick, which may or may not impact either changing or canceling or whatever, like the old show in some way to make room for it. And I'm always open to hear those ideas whenever they come. But
there's likely not going to be like a concrete idea because we're all different types of artists with different levels of investment, and it was always supposed to be like a way to stay friends. Oh, am I lagging out?
Hey Gib, you are a robot. I cannot understand the words. Can anyone else hear him? Wait, can anybody hear me?
Oh, no. All right, here we go. We're back.
Oh, are we back? Okay.
I didn't hear.
That was fucked.
I didn't hear a single thing Hippo was saying.
Okay, that just cut out. Yeah, sorry. Eleazar, if you can cut that out, whatever. Just all right. Gib, what were you saying, dog?
The basic thing I was saying is that is the I don't think like the whole point of the show initially was I like these people, they're my friends, I want an excuse to continue talking to them. Yep. And so like
it still works as that for me.
It still works as that, and a different show would inevitably only involve some of us and not all of us. So like
probably
content for whatever.
That's why content was perfect
content
for that.
Spun
yeah,
off,
we just made our own
Quick Draw
thing.
spun off. So like all the other shows,
podcast, yeah.
like a spin-off of the podcast is there's many of them already. Like they exist. I think the PCP. Sorry, said podcast. The PCP. I think should just remain like a friendship show, and the best way to grow it is to be cooler individually. Which is why, sometimes I feel like I'm not bringing enough to the table because not enough happened in the week, and it's just sort of the same old, same old. So I want to be more of an interesting person for that. But in that way, becoming more of an interesting person for the sake of the podcast is not on like my highest priority either. It's just it was just like a long term, like that would be nice sort of thing.
I just think of that as kind of a bonus. Like, it's something on my mind. When I'm going throughout my week, I'll think like, oh, this will be a fun thing to mention on the podcast.
Right.
Like, oh, you know what? I'll tell you this. This wasn't me, but this was Michelle. Michelle just got a message on, I think, Instagram from a guy who asked her to do modeling for like his like Bitcoin alternative, like his cryptocurrency he was starting. It was not PC pennies, tragically. Oh. And he asked her like, Michelle, how far are you willing to go in this modeling? And she was like, what do you mean? And it turns out what he was requesting was her to like be naked, holding like a Bitcoin over each titty. This was the specific request. So of course she's going to jump on it instantly.
No, she's going to get paid in Bitcoin.
Yeah, she's going to get paid in the coin and not actual cash.
It sounds fantastic. So I don't know. Her body, her choice. But I suspect she will turn down this particular offer. But nonetheless, that was hilarious. And when I heard that, I thought this will be funny for the people on the PCP. So that has kind of infected my life. In the same way
She
that
literally would be paid with exposure, exposing her body. That's what she would be getting paid for.
Oh my God. When I saw, years ago, I saw an episode of Fear Factor, and I heard there's an intro scene where you see each of the of the contestants introduced, and they like rotate, and they do appear to not have like a shirt on. You see shoulders up as they rotate, and one of the girls on the show said, "Yeah, I came on this show to be paid in exposure." And I was like, "Oh, you mean because like you were naked like in that intro sequence?" And I'm like, "That's like a weird thing to like come here specifically for." But like, you sis. This I actually thought that's what you meant. It took me like a decade to figure out what the fuck she was talking about.
So naive.
But now I understand. Now all is clear to me.
My relationship with the PCP is don't care, because personality-driven shows are not good, except for when they're with you guys, and I come in every 5 months, and I get to catch up, and that's cool. That's why I'm here now. Also, this topic
on the creation side of us getting to talk, which is the main reason I come. I think it's great for the audience. I don't know why you guys listen. That's your problem, not my problem. So
I mean, you're not even wrong. I wondered that all the time. I'm like, why is anybody even still here? I don't understand.
We're fascinating, Tom. They love us. They slurp us
One
down.
of the things I realized recently, or the last couple of weeks, or last couple of months, I guess, doing the bonus podcast on my own Patreon, is that I'm actually pretty good about talking. I just suck at doing it on the PCP because I can't talk over any of you people.
Yeah. It's a coliseum in here.
Even little old me. I like sometimes realizing that I used to be the smallest, and now I can bowl over someone and destroy Tom or Mage.
My new goal for 2020 is to fucking verbally steamroll all of you motherfuckers. I gotta
like
work
you just
out.
did right there.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Fucking bitch. I'm already getting my practice in. It's gonna be great.
It's good.
Now, if only I had something to say.
That's the second skill to work on.
All right, we've been going for 3 hours.
Wait, one last thing. You're right. We will wrap up. Last thing, RadCon 4. I think just touching on that, we want it to happen at some time. Scheduling may be tricky. We'll have to talk about it. We all want it to happen at some point. I mean, Ben's chomping at the bit for another lecture. I think we've all got things lined up we want to do. Can't promise exactly when. We know we want to do it, so we'll just get back to you.
Hopefully soon.
Sometime soon.
Well,
I think that the latest that we'll probably do it is summertime. That would be like the latest. When Munchy's out of school or whatever. So maybe it'll be till then. I don't know.
The summer would be nice. I would like nice weather.
Yeah. But it's so long. Spring break. When's spring break? When's that?
It's like March sometime, isn't it?
March, you say? Interesting.
No, right? Wait,
April?
maybe I'm thinking of May, because that also...
It must be
when
May.
Is spring break? What is spring break?
March would be cold and miserable.
Well, we can figure this out after the show.
Okay.
Okay, that's fair. But that's an interesting... Spring break is a whole week. That's a very intriguing suggestion. Okay, anyway. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. I think that's going to do it. Thank you, our bonus boys, for slogging away through this epic, long podcast. Hope you got something out of it. Hope you enjoy it. And I hope that you, too, are reflecting on your past year and are using perhaps some of the tips suggested here and some of the ideas to make your next year better and continuing to acquire currency that you can so kindly shuffle along down the line to patreon.com/theprocrastinators and all our affiliate donations.
They're already on it.
I'm just doing my thing. It's my instinct. And it feels great. You can always up your donation. Be a hero and give us more of your money. All right, thank you.
You can also join the Minecraft server.
Patreon.com/PCB Minecraft. That's true. That's a separate thing. We're playing Minecraft. Mage is doing events. It's a great time. Everyone's having fun. And join us on the Shekels for Heckles streams that we're doing at least once a month. So probably be one in 2-3 weeks after you hear this. Keep your eyes peeled. And that's it. You guys, you're bonus people. You know all the links. You've seen all the shit. So I think that's going to do it. Thanks for listening. Hope you have a happy new year. Hope your Christmas and other Hanukkahs and Kwanzas and whatever was good. Ramadan. All right. Take it easy, peeps. See you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Goodbye, gozaimasu.